going on, Rebel? What's going on, Alicia? Hey, Adri. What's going on, everybody? I'm doing a very short live. Very, very short. I was just watching Rue's live, and she suggested that I go live tonight. And Pill was like, if I don't go live, then I'm a stank. So I just don't want to be considered a stank. Let's see who's coming up.
Oh my god, you actually went live!
I'm not a stank.
Let me share this in the Discord.
Okay. What's going on, guys? It's a short live. I got called out for not hosting a live, so I'm hosting a live. Oop. If you believe trans women are women, press 1. If you don't believe they're trans women, press 2. Request to join the box if you disagree.
When was the last time you went live?
What's that?
When was the last time you held like a live, like a proper live?
Oh, I think it was like 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Oh really? I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I posted it on the YouTube channel. What's going on, everybody? Guys, I've been seeing this like weird shit on TikTok. Hold on, I want to show you guys.
Guys, while Raw grabs that, make sure you're tapping and you're sharing the link to push out his live, like you do in mine. Come on, y'all all know what to do.
Shit, I forgot how to do this. How do I change my background, Rue?
That's crazy. How did you forget? Green screen. There we go.
Yeah, but what's the option I have to press on my screen? No. Is it enhance? Background.
Yeah, enhance background, green screen, and then...
Okay, hold on. I've been seeing some really weird shit lately
Oh!
on TikTok. All right, it gets worse. It gets really worse. It's like, what the hell are these people doing? And who are they trying to attract? Hold on, I've got others.
Bro, what are you doing on TikTok?
And I'm seeing these things. And I'm like, what the hell are these people doing? And who are they trying to attract?
Wow, this is horrific. What have you been looking up for this to be
I
on
haven't been looking up anything. I've just been scrolling, and then I come across these weirdos. And I guess because I've been watching and I've been like, what the hell are these things? And why are you sexualizing these fuzzy characters? And who are you going after? Like, who's your target market? You know, like, I'm afraid they're like trying to like, I don't know, reel in children or kids because they're cartoon caricatures and whatnot. But I mean, this is just like wild.
This is terrifying.
It's wild. It's really wild. I can't, like, what the hell is this?
Why do you have so many?
Because every time I see them, I take a screenshot of it because I want to show you guys how, crazy this stuff is. And I don't know, like, should we report this stuff? Is this like, I don't know, is this like sexualizing things for children? Like, what are they doing? Anyways, it's all weird stuff.
Oh my goodness.
All right, what's going on, Lucho? What are you saying, Lucho?
Hey, stay away from the dark side, brother.
Yeah. Seriously, I
Use
just
the
want to
Force.
stay away from it too.
Stay away from the dark side.
Yeah, man.
That's
How
the
you-
furry side.
Yeah, that's I don't know what that is, but that's crazy. It's crazy.
You know what's crazy is I've never went into those rooms, and if I did, they would come to me like they did to you.
Well, I think my biggest mistake was watching one of them trying to figure out what it was, and now TikTok just wants to suggest it to me all the time. Hey, Pamela, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Guys, we're looking for opposition. If you know any opposition, Send them over my way. Lucha, I'm going to drop you down just because I want to keep it me and Rue. We want to debate some people. If
Yeah,
that's
no,
okay.
no problem. But you know what's weird? I'll leave it with this: that if you go to China, they don't for the children and for everybody, they don't put this controversial stuff. It's all positivity. Everything's positivity, and so they see what's happening on this side, and they really just don't care.
Yeah, but
They want
they're
us
also
to.
a communist country, and a lot of their
Yeah.
stuff like restricted, and they have to stick to the terms and conditions and terms of service. Otherwise, they get their accounts banned. They literally have like avenues of people who are just set up on the sidewalk with their cameras on TikTok, doing who knows whatever it is they're doing. But it's all pretty weird to me.
All right, I'll drop down.
All right, man, you take care.
Thanks.
Guys, if you believe trans women are women, please request. Please request if you think trans women are women. Rawr for my tiny dinies.
We don't get as many opposition these days. There's been a lot going on in TikTok space, so there's not a lot of opposition now.
Yeah, I know. It's been quite distracting, hasn't it?
Yeah. And disheartening.
Yeah. But like I said, I always come on here and I say, I don't care if you don't like me at the end of the day. I just want to have a talk. I want to challenge your ideas, and that's it. I don't want to get to know you on like the personal level type stuff.
Yeah.
Are you stateside, Rue? Yeah, are you stateside?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about like Trump wanting Canada to become the 51st state?
Oh my gosh. It's not gonna happen.
You never know. I mean, we don't really have much, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? And we really do rely on America's economy to keep us afloat. So, yeah, it's not a far stretch of the imagination, to be honest with you.
I don't think Trudeau would allow it.
Oh, he's gone. He's not even.
gone?
He's
Already?
not prime minister anymore. He's not even the leader of the Liberal Party. Now it's Mark Carney,
Oh,
who's
I thought it
the
was
who's
Trudeau.
global elitist. Guys, if you think trans women are women, please join. Request to join. Otherwise, tap the screen. If you want to come on and shoot the shit for a little bit, feel free to do so. I think I'm going to maybe do a live tomorrow. I'm going to do my first episode covering the history of autogynephilia and introducing Ray Blanchard, doing a little backstory. I got about like 8 pages written up to do a monologue, but then, I'll open it up to anybody who wants to come on and ask questions about autogynephilia.
I think it's pretty late. So people, I noticed that the best time to go live is in the morning. People don't really come on at this time.
You find? I found like my best time slot was in the evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, around 7 o'clock Eastern time. I thought that was, well, for my demographic anyways, like when I look at my reports, my demographic is a little bit of an older demographic. So, once they've just finished eating dinner or they're about to sit down and enjoy something or whatever, like my viewership is a little bit older than maybe most. So,
Yeah, usually my age, to be fair.
Rod, did you MC search is on TikTok and actually message back and goes live? Who's MC search? I don't know. Maybe I'm not reading that right. It's late. I'm tired. What have y'all been up to? Come on up if you want to just shoot shit. Don't be shy. Third base. Oh, did you search on TikTok? No, I didn't. I did not. For me, I guess. I'm getting old.
Hi, Mop.
Come on up.
Moop.
What's going on, Martha? Come on up, Martha. Let's have a talk. I think trans women are women.
Oh.
I dare you to debate me on it.
Oh. Did you see it get like really Phil bro in my live earlier today?
No, I was in and out. I was in and
Oh,
out.
my head was hurting.
Of course they're women. They're more women than women are. They're the womeniest. They women the best, and they're actually, because they actually work for their womanness. Like we're lazy about ours. Like we just have it. But like they actually, like, they got to go to voice training. They got to get surgeries. They got, like, they're actually, so they do the best womaning. They perform femininity like so much better. Like they are actually like if it was a race, they would have won.
Martha's cooking. Martha's cooking.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
no, this is
about
just facts. This is just facts.
I was thinking about ripping off this meme that my wife saw on Facebook, where this guy has two bathroom doors, and one of them has a picture of Bruce Jenner, and the other one has a picture of Caitlyn Jenner. So I was thinking of putting that in the background. I'm like, women, these are your options. What do you think? I thought that would be funny.
Oh man, this is just, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like the
Yeah.
the audacity. And I don't know if you've seen what's going on in San Francisco right now, but they're basically shutting down so like different like nude spas that want to keep men out, or like even if they allow the men to be there, but they ask them to be fully clothed if they're going to be in the women's event or whatever, or if they just say, look, we've got these nude sides, one is for women, one is for men, just please stay out of the women's. So like they're harassing the spas. They have like these huge protests outside, and they actually got the spas to fucking cave to them. Like
That's
they were just like, oh, okay.
Oh.
And like, because they go outside and they put chalk all over the place and they freak out, and they basically just call them bigots and phobes, and that they're like as bad as like racists and everything. So it's just, they just, in order to keep their business going, they just cave, like these men. And then like they're all mad, they're all on TikTok being like, women's gyms should include trans women, like that one woman who wants to have her own female gym. And like they just literally can't let us have even one thing. Like it has to all be laid bare and open, and women cannot have anything away from males. Otherwise they'll throw
conquer all
tantrums.
spaces, Martha. We must conquer all spaces.
It's
Tony,
conquering. It's fucking colonizing. It's absolutely a conquering thing that's happening.
you bet. I think we have an op. Tony, do you think trans women are women? Tony.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me.
No worries. Can I get your age for TikTok, please?
That's Bubbles.
Oh.
No,
both.
trans women are female.
Trans
They're
women are
so...
female.
Oh, Rod, did you see the video that I just did where the person was saying that trans is a sex? I was
Yeah.
like, wasn't that good? I'm just
Wait,
like,
but it is.
well, I know it is, but like this is just science. But like she was stating the science, and I was like, okay, but like, are they male? And she's like, no, they're trans. I'm like, okay, but what sex are they? And she's like, trans. I'm like,
Did you know that we all start off as intersex?
no, we all start off as Martha. That's
No.
already been established.
We all start off hermaphrodite, and I didn't differentiate. I'm still a hermaphrodite.
I developed as a fetal dolphin in the womb.
We all start off as woke.
If you think trans women are women, please join the box. Guys, I think there's only two categories of people. There's men and mo men. There's no more women.
Who's the sexy
Mo
woman
men?
on the left?
Like,
Mo men,
did
yeah.
you say mo men as if it's like more men than men?
Exactly. It's men and more men. So I just shortened it for mo men.
Who's the sexy woman on the left?
That's
Well,
Jeffrey.
you know that women are just dickless men.
For sure. Jeffrey Marsh, I think is his name. He's like this total groomer on TikTok. He's like, children, let me talk to you without your parents in the room.
Jeffrey Marsh is a creep, like actually a creep.
No, but like you laugh, Bubbles, but that's exactly what he says. Like he's not even like making stuff up. Like that's exactly what Jeffrey Marsh says.
No, I believe it. I believe
Or
it.
he goes, children, if you need to go no contact with your parents, that's probably the right thing to do. And like you can come to me and I will love you. I love you. And he looks like into your eyes through the camera, like with this, like he's such a cult leader. He's such a manipulative fuck. Like, oh, that guy.
And how many people are there people that support him though?
Thousands, maybe even millions.
Probably.
He's got a huge following. Go type his thing in and have a look. Like he's got a huge following. And then And he's like, come on to my Patreon and we'll talk privately.
Yeah, he's nuts. Like, I can't stand him. Every time I hear him on this platform, I just want to report him. He
Yeah,
is
I
such a
know.
groomer, and how people are just like so accepting of this dude. It's just like, why do you want to get your hands on children so badly? Like, why don't you want to talk to, I don't know, adults? No, you want to focus just on children. And he puts makeup on to make himself look like a fairy on top of it, right? And
Yeah,
it's
he's
just like,
so
oh,
gross.
yeah.
He wants to appeal to the children.
Oh,
But they
1000%.
all want to attack the children because it's going to take is like one generation of kids believing that you can change your sex and that it's normal to do this behavior. Like we're the old guard. We're the ones trying to stop it, but if it doesn't get stopped, all it's going to take is that one generation that they targeted and it's game over. Like it's entrenched in the culture and in society.
You said Jeffrey Marsh. For some reason, I thought you said his name was Jeffrey Marsha.
No, no, Jeffrey Marsh.
All right, I'm gonna go look him up. One sec.
He's gross. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to rake your eyeballs out. Oh, we have a guest. Sorry, guys. I'm not being so attentive.
I love when you look him up. It just says people have also looked up Dylan Mulvaney and Lily Tino.
Yeah. Hey, Butterfly. Thanks for joining. Can I get your age for TikTok, please?
I think Butterfly is also a friendly. I think.
Yeah, Butterfly's friendly.
Hey, friendly. How are you?
Bro, that picture of Lily Tino makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. It makes
Oh,
me.
yeah. You know what I learned?
Oh,
Velma is supposed to be Asian.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I believe like Indian, but I looked it up because I was like, why do I get like Asian-y vibes from the cartoon of Velma? And apparently Velma's supposed to be like Indian kind, like from that region of Asia.
Oh, T, I didn't know that.
Oh, Martha, did you see the screenshots I was sharing before?
no.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. The furries.
Yeah. Like, what is that? What
That
is that?
is probably like weird hentai stuff or something. I don't know.
That's some weird stuff, man.
It
Well,
says
they're
Velma is Indian American, so she's Asian.
Oh, you're good, Butterfly. Don't worry about it.
they're all into some weird shit. Like the more that the culture and the more that people get entrenched in online like digital world, like the more they're going to become disassociated and degraded and perverted and degenerate. Like it's I don't even know what to do about it at this point. Like it's just so the access is there. Like and I just like my Instagram algorithm like took a sudden turn that's like showing me like dark web stuff and all this shit. And I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like what are people into? Like I see some of this stuff and I'm just like it doesn't show you everything, but it just tantalizes you to try to get you to like research the whatever it is they're talking about further. And it's like I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what you're implying here. Like they're just
Yeah.
like trying to get me to like they're trying to get me to like, go research some really screwed up shit. And think about like kids like going online and seeing like these horrible things that like unalivings and weird shit and like that being like ingrained in their psyches and like they're desensitized and like oh I'm
I honestly
so
can't
afraid for
stomach.
the future.
I can't stomach what Twitter has been showing me recently, and it's just like a lot of violence, and like I don't even want to get into it, but it's just like people like unaliving and people being unalive.
Yeah,
I'm like, why? Why? Like this
because
isn't the stuff.
they're trying to like groom us to become like demons. Did you guys see the fucking video of that woman grabbing the baby wombat?
No.
Oh
No.
man, it's all over Twitter. This stupid asshole from the US, she like went and grabbed she was in Australia and she went and grabbed a baby wombat from its mom and its mom's all distressed and like kind of running after her.
What the hell, man?
And like she brings it back to her car so that she can do a selfie with it or some shit and the baby's struggling and the mama's like all upset and like then she gets her selfie and then she goes and puts it back. But it's just like, holy shit. Like, and everyone hates her. She's probably like the most hated person on the internet.
That's crazy.
People are so mentally unwell. Like it's actually like what would provoke you to do something like that? Like, do you want
Don't pick up a baby. Don't pick up a baby animal from its mom. You stupid idiot. Like, and just so you can get a photo with it.
And
I mean, wild
that's
animals.
this whole social media behavior, right? Like this Instagram behavior bullshit. Like, what the hell? People can't just even enjoy moments at a concert anymore. If you ever stand at the back row of a concert, everybody has their cell phone out and they're videoing the entire fucking thing. It's just like, how can you be enjoying this experience? Like, the person is literally in front of you, performing in front of you, but you would rather watch it on your screen, on your device, literally recording while the person is like right in front of you. This is just
I remember
it doesn't make sense to me.
I was front row, and I think I took like maybe a couple videos at the start, but after like about 20 minutes, like I don't have any videos, and even the videos I have, like for most of it, it's focused on like the back of the stage because I'm like not looking at my phone.
There was a video. Do you guys know who Natalie Reynolds is? She's a TikToker on here. I'm not sure if she got charged for it or not, but basically she was getting quote canceled. She should have been charged for fucking murder, but basically she went up to this homeless woman and said like, if you jump in the lake, like I'll give you money or whatever, like knowing she was homeless and knowing she was like handicapped, disabled, like she like whatever. And she started drowning, and the fucking like the creator just left her there and walked away so she would drown. And then thank God like someone saw and called like the ambulance and stuff. But she just basically like left that homeless woman to unalive, and she recorded it for her YouTube.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're disgusting, man.
But yeah, it's also for people wondering, I'm just borrowing this account. This isn't like a backup account, but yeah, no, people are sick. Like, what would provoke you to go to a homeless person and say, yeah, if you do this, I'll give you money, knowing you need the money. Go jump in a lake so you drown, and then once you start drowning and saying you can't breathe, I'm gonna walk away.
Right.
Like, people are, I can't.
Well, like adding into what you were saying, Rob, about like people looking at things through their screens, is it like it's a bit like, you know, what porn does to sex, where people become voyeurs and they actually can't get turned on by the real thing anymore because they need to be watching it. They need to be voyeuring in order to get turned on. So it's kind of the same, like people are doing that about life, kind of like they're just like looking at life through the lens of their phone, and that's how they want to live life. And like it disassociates you from your humanity, which a lot of people want to do because a lot of people feel really anxious. Like our humanity makes us feel very unsafe, anxious. You know, just it's very vivid and real. But so they're kind of going through their phones. And there was this group of teenagers who kind of did similar to what Bubbles was saying. They were seeing like a mentally ill person, or mentally challenged actually person. They were drowning in a lake, and the teens were just watching them drown, and they were just watching through their phone, right? And you could hear them being like, whoa, what the hell, that guy's just, whoa, he can't swim and he's drowning. And they were just sitting there watching him drown, and they watched him drown till he unalived.
Oh my God.
And then they were like,
It's like,
and then the teens were like, oh,
it's like the
yeah,
bystander.
like the teens were like, oh, he unalived.
Yeah.
Oh, and you could hear them kind of like try to grapple with it a little bit. Like they were just kind of like, oh, and like because they were looking through their phones too. Like it didn't feel real or seem real, but it was real, and they literally just watched him unalive, and they didn't do anything.
People are so
they didn't help him.
desensitized. It's so,
Yeah.
I can't. And like, no, also what you were talking about too. Like I was just talking about this with my boyfriend. Like it's just so insane to me how like we sexualize literally fucking everything because of porn. Honestly, I think we should abolish porn, all of it. Like I genuinely believe
it's not just that.
I agree too.
It's in the music industry. It's in the movie industry.
That's what I was gonna get to. I was getting to that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we are literally being programmed through all these different apps like Netflix and Hulu and, you know, whatever other ones that are available, and these movies that were. Look at the movie Sound of Freedom, okay? Mm-hmm. If anybody knows what that movie is, it's about
I know that movie.
Trafficking, okay? And it paints a true story about what's actually happening. And number one, I was so disgusted by the fact that no major movie company wanted to pick it up. I was also disgusted by the fact that every single media company tried to suppress it. There was only one movie theater company in my local area that has several chains that was willing to play it. In other movie theaters, like Famous Players, they would have all these types of digital type of like glitches that would happen with the movie, so people couldn't watch it in its entirety. It just felt like everybody was trying to suppress this stuff when you would think that people would want to know more about it, advocate to stop it. No, instead they want to push all this mumbo jumbo down our throats. They want to subject us to extreme gore and violence and desensitize us so that when things in real life happen, we don't actually have an emotional stimuli or reaction to it. And I think that
this is why like I'm very like select with the movies and TV that I do engage with, because it's like insane that you can't watch a simple fucking movie or TV anymore without like extreme smacks, extreme gore, violence, sexualizing women, and like now it's normal to like sexualize children, and it's just like I can't anymore, and it's just like people will be like, oh, like Bubbles, like why don't you watch this show? I'm like, why would I? Like I don't feel the need to obsess over schmugs and smecks and all these fuck ass things. Like it's just I can't. It's like rotting people's brains. I actually think.
Yeah, it really and it makes people prioritize or get their priorities all mixed up. I think back in the day, and I'm a little bit older. I'm 43 years old, but like we grew up with a certain standard and set of morals where it was gleaned up. It was looked well upon for somebody to have integrity, to be a go-getter, to apply yourself and go out there and work hard. Nowadays it's just like people are taking the easy way out. And it's like they don't want to put in the time, they don't want to put in the effort, they feel so entitled, and it's just like, listen.
Well, also, back then I feel like people also worked a lot harder for what they had, like what they got, like their career wise. Nowadays, people can just get fucking famous for literally fucking anything now, and it's like people don't have to try. Like the fact that we have a bop house is, I can't. Like we have freshly 18-year-olds, getting famous for showing their titties and their ass on OnlyFans, and now like they have a house where that's all they do is they sexualize themselves for money, and it's like, why are people even encouraging that? Why are we encouraging freshly 18-year-old girls to sexualize themselves for money? And I would argue that OnlyFans and shit like that is literally just modern day prostitution.
They had a 17-year-old at the house the other week. What do you mean? Like the person was 17.
I didn't know that. But no, yeah, it's insane. Like, why would people even encourage that? And then people are like, oh well, like they're grown adults. I don't give a fuck if legally you're 18. You're still like freshly a kid. Like when I turned 18, like 2 days before my graduation. My high school graduation. So like some of these people are still in high school or freshly out of high school. Why would you even want them to sexualize themselves for money?
Well, I think it's an easy way out in today's society, right? Like people just have to turn on a camera on their device and they can make money from home, not having to actually put in any effort into learning a skill or a trade or a trait.
Well, it's actually crazy the amount of money these people get, though. Like Sophie Rain, like I'm pretty sure she got like $44 million in 1 year.
Yeah, she made like $4 million in like a week or something.
Like that is literally absurd. Like this is why people don't want to be lawyers anymore. They don't want to be doctors. They don't want to be neurosurgeons. Like they don't want to actually do things that are worth putting in the effort for. Because why would you when all you need to do is fucking show your fucking coochie and your fucking beef flappers, and all of a sudden like you're getting fucking $4 million a month. Literally absurd.
You know what else I think is crazy? I think that it's called mukbangs or something like that.
Mukbangs, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. What was that girl's name that you back? I think the creator's name is Jelly Bean, and
the food
Jelly
out
Bean
and was
yeah.
this person, like I'm not even watching what my wife is watching on her phone, but I can hear this woman masticating
Ugh.
over the speaker, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's like they're making love to
Nope.
mozzarella cheese sticks, and I'm like, what the hell?
They also spit it out. Like a lot of mukbangers have been exposed for like spitting the food out.
I would rather I would rather sleep on a bed of nails than watch a mukbang. I'm sorry, but I do not understand how people like watch mukbangs. Like, I do not want to hear people slurping their fucking food with sauce all over the mouth. Like, that shit's fucking vile. Like, I don't want to see that shit.
I can't lie. In Korea, slurping is pretty common. So like I'm used to slurping, but it's the like chewing sounds that I can't do.
Well, I don't know what it's called, but I'm very, very sensitive to like like people making noises and shit when they're eating. It literally makes me want to unalive myself. Like, I hate it.
But my question is, what I'm curious is, like, who are these people supporting these people? Like who are the people who are watching them and gifting them? Like, what is your
Bro,
fetish?
they want people to get so obese to the point that they unalive. Like, that Nikki Avocado person was literally like a skinny normal dude before starting mukbangs, and then he got into mukbangs and gained like 300 pounds.
Yeah, but he also like took us for a ride as well, eh? Because in that 4 years, he was just posting content. He wasn't actually doing it. He had pre-recorded all of that.
No,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and then within a year, he posted a new video. The guy's skinny, man. He's a twig now.
Yeah.
Go look him up. He
No,
literally
yeah, I don't know about that. Well, then
he
also
has
too,
he has a twin brother or something.
they
Or
give these people like that shouldn't deserve platforms like why are people still platforming Eugenia Cooney? Like, I don't know if you guys know who that person is. Yeah, like Eugenia Cooney is extremely unhealthy. Has had an eating disorder like her entire time that she's been on social media, and it's like, why are we even platforming this person? Why are we giving this person attention? Like, this person needs to be admitted into a mental hospital. Like,
Yeah.
it's sad because we're watching these people basically like unalive in front of our eyes, and it's like, I don't know. That's why I don't engage with that.
I don't know how anyone can muster up the courage and confidence to show their face on social media after everything we know about that case. You know what I'm talking about, Casey Anthony?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and to come on here and say that you're a legal advocate, yeah, no shit, because they got you off the hook. You know, I mean, I don't know,
Also,
man.
it's funny that because people keep saying like, "Oh, how do you know these people?" I know these people because these people are very famous online, and also Rue knows the people that I'm bringing up as well. And Eugenia Cooney has been around since Vine. Like,
Yeah, I remember like I went through like a really bad eating disorder, and I remember watching Eugenia Cooney when I was like 13.
yeah, no, like I was really young when I first engaged with Eugenia Cooney. Like, she's been around since like the beginning of Vine days. So it's like all these people that I know off social media have just been around for years and years. And it's like I just miss when social media used to be innocent, and I don't know. I just miss when YouTube was just something I could go to for fun and just to engage with the content. And it's like now the shit that they like push nowadays, it's like, I don't know. Like, people back then also didn't used to care about politics or care about anything of the sort like that. But it's like now it's like there have been creators that have been like quote canceled or have lost a lot of followers just for their solely who they voted for. And it's like back then, like, people weren't necessarily worried about that shit. They just watched the content if they liked it.
Exactly. But I do think that these platforms do back a lot of really terrible people as influencers. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't think that, young developing girls should be pushed this idea that they need to wear makeup or they need to embed themselves in the, most recent fashion and, like
Yeah.
idolize people like Kim Kardashian and like I just don't think that is the way that we should, like, that's not the right messaging.
Well, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. Like, when I was a kid, I also, when I was 11, 12 years old, I didn't have like a fucking 3-hour long skincare routine. I wasn't wearing like 3 pounds of makeup to school. Like, I wasn't wearing crop tops and booty shorts. Like, I was a kid. Like, it's just so weird. Like now, like all these kids are like, oh, what are the latest fashion trends? Like, oh, I need to buy this $70 thing from Sephora for my skincare routine. It's like, dude, you
These
don't have any
kids
fucking
using
acne.
the kids using these chemicals don't realize they're going to do more damage to their skin than help it. Like, there's
Right.
a reason why younger generations are starting to look older than they are.
Well, and that's the crazy part too, because you would think that parents would be guiding their children and be like, "No, you're a child. You don't need to put that shit on your face. It's going to do more harm than good." Like, this is the problem. Parents are not actually guiding their children to do what's best for them. Like, they would rather just stick an iPad and an iPhone in front of them to have them shut the fuck up and give them everything they want, more so than telling them no. Like, if I like, there are these people that are getting like, what is it? Like the Deuce thing, the fucking like $400 like hair tool. Like, if I was 11 years old asking my mom for a fucking $400 hair tool and was asking for like all this expensive ass skincare, my mom would have laughed in my face and said, "Yeah, right, get this shit from Target. Like, get this like one lip gloss and that's all you need." Like, people aren't actually parenting their children nowadays, and it shows.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that because I'm seeing such terrible behavior out of young children who are being brought up by tablets and smartphone devices, watching YouTube, and other platforms. And in some cases, parents are not even like aware that there are parental settings that you can set so your child doesn't access certain content.
Yep.
And these children are at such a young age learning things that are well beyond their years. And the behaviors that they are expressing towards their social groups and peers, teachers, educators, it's really bad. And it's kind of like teetering on the line of like psychopathy, like
Yeah.
they're starting to get desensitized at such a young age that they're more likely to commit these heinous types of crimes later on because they've been desensitized. Like you
Oh no, I
can't
agree with
show
you.
a 6-year-old movies about murder and stuff like that. Like that you'll
Yeah,
turn
no.
your child into Dexter.
Well, kids are also just a lot more like emotionally immature and emotionally they're not intelligent. They're not, like, these kids are not at the level they need to be. Like, there are so many teachers that are quitting because they're like, I'm teaching 8th graders and they're not at a 5th grade reading and writing level. Like, these children are not at the level they need to be because instead of being more focused on the curriculum of teaching them English, math, social studies and such like that, they're more focused about teaching about the LGBTQ community and gender ideology. And it's like, this is why our kids are not, and they're also, like we were talking about earlier, they're just being shoved a fucking, like, tablet in their face, and they're not learning literally anything. Like, these children are so far behind in their
Develop.
school, in their development, yeah, and it shows. Like, they're more focused about what skincare they're using and what is going on TikTok, more so than learning in school. And it's like, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed a phone until I was, like, I think I was like 11, 12 when I got my first phone. And when I did, it was a 5C, and I wasn't allowed Snapchat. The only social media I had was Instagram and Facebook, which was monitored by my parents, and I mainly just played games.
Yeah,
And
I was 14 and I had one of them flip phones. I didn't get social media till I was like 16. That's when my parents allowed me to have it.
I also had my social, like, I had my social media monitored. My YouTube was monitored. And I turned out for the most part pretty okay. But it's like nowadays, like, also like my like social media and shit was also in moderation as well. Like,
Right.
when I was on my phone, like, I wasn't on my phone like all fucking day. I wasn't on it during school. I also did other shit. Like, back then, like, we actually went outside and played with our friends and played video games and, like, did shit with our families and shit. We weren't only focused on social media. So that's another thing too, is like, it's based in, like, it's not in moderation like when we were kids.
Yeah, I got my first phone when I was 13, and I was shown the internet at a very young age, and it actually really affected me. When kids are on the internet at a really young age, they're shown many things that they shouldn't be seeing. When I was 13, I was just getting out of my kid phase. I was turning into, what would be a woman, and I was, my body was, I was starting puberty. Well, I started puberty at 11, but I got a phone at 13, so that's when I thought I was growing up. So I was shown corn, I was shown multiple things. So growing up, it was kind of like difficult to grasp what being a kid was. Because at 13, I was still a kid. I still got excited at Barbie dream houses. I was still like wanting to play with Barbies. But at the same time, when I got a phone, I was like, I want to get out of the kid phase. I want to be a teenager. I want to be a teenager so bad that to the point where I got to be a teenager and I want to be a kid again. So, and the internet ruins people's childhood. Like, I miss when my first electronic was a Barbie computer. I miss when we give kids like computers that are actually toys instead of actual real electronics.
Yeah, it's full on. Like it's, and the thing is, like, this is all new to all of us. Like, I remember when I got my first smartphone, my daughter was probably 4 years old. So now she's 16. So this is how new this all is, right? Like it's, so even adults, this is not integrated. This is not like, we've integrated this into our evolution or anything. Like this is all new to all of us. So parents, adults, children, everybody, we're not prepared for this. We don't know how to do this. And most adults are really addicted to their phones. I've become more and more addicted to my phone. I didn't know I would become this involved in my phone and like all the different social medias. Like it crept up on me. Absolutely. Like,
Yeah. This is
it's
something I
crazy.
love to spread awareness about because my child is not having a phone. I'll give her a flip phone when she's like, whenever she's starting to go out and like have sleepovers and going out, like hang out with her friends, then yes, I'll give her a flip phone, but she's not going to have access to social media.
Well, but
And I advocate for this for a lot of reasons. I had something else on my mind, so go ahead, Bubbles.
No,
Well,
you're
hold
good.
on.
I
I
was gonna.
want to just say something real quick.
Oh,
Like I'll be the first to admit that formerly had an addiction to this app, to this phone, so much so that when I would go into my social settings, I would talk about the things that I debate about online. And so, Martha, I just want to ask you, like, is that something that you've caught yourself doing as well?
what do you mean? Talk
Like
about it.
when you're talking with your friends, like, do you either talk about the subject or talk about conversations that you had online with people?
Oh yeah, and because it takes up so much of your life, it becomes so impactful and important to your world that what else do you have to talk about? But except for like what you're doing with your day and what you're doing with your intellect and your focus. Um, like I mean, I do my life. I like right now I'm doing my life, right? Like I do my life. I work. I go grocery shopping. I get off the app when it's family time, but I'm on the app like while I'm just doing my life. So it's like a companion to my
Right.
life, right? So it's always kind of in my head and I'm talking with people or I'm not, or I'm listening. So it takes up a lot of my consciousness. So absolutely, I don't have much else to talk about
Yeah,
other than stuff that's happening in my life, which wouldn't be as like crazy as what's happening here, right? So what's happening here is more, there's way more confrontations, there's way more whatever. So it's going to be a lot more interesting than like what happened to me at work, which is just
Right.
really, really just regular interactions with people. But the interactions on this app, this whole world, this app is like, it's a weird alien world that like, you know, it's not like real life. It has a lot of, it's way more, I don't know, crazy. It's just way
yeah,
more like things are just
well,
nuts on here.
this is
and
why
yeah,
this is kind of why I've been wanting to delete TikTok because it is consuming my life, and it's like I feel like because there was a time where I had TikTok deleted for months. Like I literally was not on it for months, and then I stupidly downloaded it again. And then ever since I found debating, I've been on TikTok every day. But all I
Yeah.
really do on this app is debate. I mean, I don't really like scrolling TikTok that much. I mean,
Take iPhones in sweatshops every day with
Well, that's creepy.
what the
that's an
hell?
event anyway. But like I want to continue debating, but I'm tempted to delete this app because I'm so tired of just it creates so many mental problems with me And like for example, like I noticed myself comparing myself to other women on this app, which is not good for my body image issues.
Yeah.
It's like
Be careful with that. Definitely be careful with
yeah,
that.
no, and that's why it's like sometimes I want to take a break, and also having to fight this ideology is also very detrimental to my mental health. Like it makes me angry and irritated all the time.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it would make myself a lot more peaceful if I were to be off social media, but it's also I want to fight the ideology at the same time. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of hard. But I might be doing this with I might debate with moderation. I might just be I might wean myself off a little bit, and find other productive things to do.
Yeah, it can get imbalanced for sure
I
because
would
it's
say
so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. Oh, sorry, Martha. I would just say like I had that issue when I first started debating. It kind of consumed me. And now it's kind of like, although I'm on panels a lot of the times if I'm on a panel, I'm muted for a lot of it, like especially on Nate's live, and I'm kind of just there just to listen in, and I'm doing other stuff that's productive. But yeah, it consumed me for a while. So definitely try and like figure out your balance, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
so
What up,
addictive to
that
be able to
bubbles?
like come on here and like actually interact. Like it's one thing. So most apps, like what you do is you just scroll and you consume, but to be able to interact the way we're interacting, like where we're all just in different parts of the world, we're affecting each other's lives. That is so addictive. Like just to be able to impact each other and talk to each other and relate with each other and influence each other, rather than just passively consume whatever's on the social media and like maybe be able to comment or something, right? This is a whole other ballgame for us to actually be forming relationships and everything. Like it's just crazy. Like so of course it's so addictive in a world where people are really isolated, where people aren't having like as meaningful conversations in their day-to-day life, right? Like I'm not just going to start talking about something I'm passionate or like some controversial political thing like this with just like somebody at my work or something, right? So this is it's very full on, and it can be really fulfilling too, and really kind of a neat thing, but it definitely can get out of balance. And like all the people with their crazy obsessions and their crazy stalking and doxing and all of that, that's definitely the dark side of it. But also, yeah, getting too involved in, I guess, the debating or in the relationships that are on here.
Well, but also too, like for me, like the biggest thing that I struggle with is health anxiety and health OCD. I would never wish that on my worst enemy, not gonna lie. But that's also what I struggle with being on this app is every video I see is people talking about the health issues they have and the symptoms of this cancer and the symptoms of this disease, and it's like it consumes my mental health. And I think, well, like I said, when I wasn't on this app, my mental health was a lot better. But the only thing keeping me on this app is debating.
What's up,
Yeah,
Yams?
I'm not gonna lie. I have blood pressure issues, so I totally get it. Like on the sense of having things that kind of stop you from debating and kind of like make it hard. I have blood pressure issues because I just had a child, and so when I get worked up, my blood pressure like goes through the roof. So sometimes when I debate, I have to keep myself calm. But go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry, I just had to
All right,
Is
good.
say something.
You're good. What's up, Yams?
Yeah, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. So, what's a man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm saying, what's a man?
Oh, what's a man?
Yeah.
Adult human
Well,
male.
Queen Bambi might be an actual app.
I was gonna say we might want to get Queen's
Bambi,
age
yeah,
real
Queen
quick.
Bambi is an op, and Queen Bambi has been racist towards Nate, but no, they're not.
Oh
Yeah, you guys remember?
no, I wasn't
You
there.
guys are all coming at me like that.
All right,
You
Queen,
want to
how old are you?
tell?
Why am I wrong?
So Queen, so people coming at you gives you an excuse to be racist. I don't.
Who said I'm racist?
I have clips of
Racist.
you being racist to Nate. You not remember Ed DeMo's debates where you were racist on his panel?
You guys,
I have
you
clips
guys
you don't
misread
remember.
something I said, and I wasn't being racist. I remember exactly what it is, and you guys are trying to say something that wasn't even accurate.
So you
I'm not
resorted to
racist.
racism?
I'm not resorting to racism.
You did on his live.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, give me 10 minutes.
On
I can
whose
find
live?
it for you, but
All right. Well, Queen, how old are you for the TikTok, please?
Anyway, I'm 30.
Thank you.
31,
And
actually.
are trans women?
I don't think trans women are women, biologically speaking. I think that how they identify is how they identify, but I mean, no, I don't think we're not biological women, no.
Oh, so we agree. Can trans women be women?
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think that really. My thing is this. Look, it's whatever they identify as, whatever they identify as. I mean, that's their business. Why is it such a big deal what they identify as? Why is it making
Well,
an issue
Queen,
for?
you can't just identify as something you're objectively not,
Okay,
especially
but
like
what?
an
But
oppressor.
actually, I want to know. So I can go in your house and tell you how you can dress. I can go tell you how to raise your kids. Like, I mean, what do
Well,
you
no,
mean?
it's fine. Hold on, let me explain. So it's fine if you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want in certain ways, but what we're doing in
Yeah.
society and legally is we're recognizing people as things that they are objectively not. So we're legally recognizing men as
No,
women.
sweetheart. What you're doing is you're creating a space for hate.
Well, hold on, I haven't finished.
You're
So
creating a
when we
space for
legally,
hate.
can I finish? So when we legally recognize men as women, this is why we have men in women's prisons raping women. This is why we have men in women's shelters raping women. This is why we have men stealing and taking sports
Oh.
opportunities and medals and scholarships,
Well,
and then just scholarships in general
Martha,
away
one
from women.
second. I just want to ask Queen something. Queen, do you know what the most significant difference is between a male prison and a female prison? Like the biggest
Of course,
difference
yeah.
between.
And I always get sent to the male prison. I don't understand what she's talking about.
No, but I'm asking. Okay, so what do you think that is?
I've
What
been
do you
to
think
jail
the most
before,
significant?
and I'm transgender.
Right, but just tell me, what do you think the
Look, if
difference?
someone has personally,
You're
if
cutting
you let
out.
me
You
answer, I would
got.
speak. You know.
Sorry, go ahead. You were just.
Okay, then my
You had
signal's
some
back
bad.
up. Okay, now.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, my signal's not too good, but like, no, I'm gonna go to my living room. So basically, my thing is this: look, if someone has the biological, like, say if someone gets does the full transition, they do like the vagina, whatever. Like, basically, me, I'm full transition, you know. And my thing is this: it's like, what does it matter if they go to a men or women's prison? What does it matter if they go in the men or you're obviously not going to go in the men's restroom?
It's not a vagina.
I'll tell you what the biggest difference is between the male prison and the female prison. The males schmurder each other in prison. The females don't. When we allow,
Actually, sir, you're wrong about that. There's a higher murder rate in women's prisons. It's proven that women's prisons and women's facilities actually have a higher violent rate.
no, what's your source on schmurder?
My sources, I've actually been to jail, sir. I've been to jail, and I know how it works. I'm from Los Angeles, sir, so like I know how the jails work out here.
What you're telling me is anecdotal. You don't have any
Queen,
research.
can I ask Queen a question? Wait, Queen, so you went to prison, right?
I went to jail,
Great. So are you
not to prison. I haven't been to prison.
so are you a trans woman?
Yes, and that before I had gotten my full surgery, I would go to the male unit, but now that I do not longer have male parts, I go to the
Wait,
female
so
unit.
how do you so you going to jail does not give us an explanation about the female prison, considering you just said you were in the male prison. So what's your point?
I've been to both, sweetheart.
Oh, so you've been in the female prison then?
Correct. This is correct. Yes.
So you said that. So this proves a
To my
point.
understanding, it seemed like the women were a lot more
Wait, but
crazy
this-
than the men. I mean, that's
this
my own personal
proves-
experience.
This would be
proves-
anecdotal anyway. This would be anecdotal anyway.
This proves our point that you literally have the privilege of being put in a women's prison and you are a man.
And also, your crime would now be categorized as a female crime, right? Part of a female crime statistic and not a male crime statistic.
You guys are just like trying to create hate. You're hateful, and you just need to get over yourself.
please.
You're not gonna
We're just
win.
resisting.
Now, we are
We're
just
just a
pointing
resistance
out-
Resisting
against
what?
your invasion.
What are you mad about?
Your colonization and fetishization of everything female. Your invasion.
Invasion. Watching your kid turns out trans, sweetheart. That's what the funny thing is. Like, my mom didn't want me to be trans. You think my family expect that to happen? It happens to anybody.
Good
Anybody
thing
can
you're
turn out
not.
trans.
Good thing nobody
Kids aren't
is.
trans, by the way. Kids are not trans. Kids
Hold on,
are
real
just
quick,
kids.
Raw. There's a person who's known for spam reporting in your lobby. You might want to ban him. Their name's Audrey. They
Oh,
also
Audrey
told
is a spam
Christie's. They
reporter,
also
right?
told Christie's kid to unalive. So I think you want to ban them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
I don't know where you guys are all y'all are
get
from,
on
but
it,
at the end of the
please.
day, I have nothing against women. I have nothing against any of
They
your guys'
have
views. I respect them. But
Queen.
at
You're
the end of the
spurting
day,
out. Calm down, buddy. They have the trans flag in their bio, and the name's Audrey, or in
look
their
at
name.
the end of the day, like I said though, I have nothing against anybody. I don't know where you guys get all your anger from about all this whole situation. I do understand
No
there's
one
some people.
cares.
Yeah,
Yes,
women are
Jersey.
pissed.
No one
Yes, Jersey.
cares.
This is the racist queen that was on Nate's panel. Yeah.
Yeah, but hold
Just
on,
boot 'em.
Queen.
Yeah,
How is
I'm
it
not
hateful?
you
racist.
don't see
Hold
why
on,
women would be
Queen.
pissed.
Queen,
Seriously.
why is it hateful to point out a reality? Like your
It's not
situation.
it's not about putting on a reality. So if someone looks like a female, why would you sit there and bully him to go to the men's restroom? It doesn't make no sense.
No,
Because they're
I
not
wanted
a
to
female.
I'm
bump.
not
I wanted
bullying
to
them to
bump
go.
Queen.
Hold on. I'm not bullying them to go into the men's bathroom. What I'm saying is that they don't get to cross societal boundaries simply because they made personal choices to emulate the
Oh,
opposite
you expect
sex.
a person who has a vagina to go to the men's restroom? That's what my question is.
You don't have that
No,
though. You
there
have
are
a
other
hole in your man
places that
body.
you
Like,
can
who
use
cares?
that would increase your safety, and
Martha's hateful anyway.
you would be exhibiting more respect for the other people within society. So there are other spaces that you could use. Why? Okay, so tell me this, Queen. What blanket of security and safety does the women's washroom provide you that a single unit space
I don't know.
does?
Why don't you have your daughter go walk into a men's restroom and see how she feels? Like, I mean, that's the same exact at this point. Like, that's exactly
Did
what
you
the
hear
same
the
thing you're
question,
asking me to do
Queen?
at this point.
Did you hear the question? Repeat the question back to me.
You're asking me at this point. It's like someone using the restroom isn't no one's business, dog.
Okay,
You don't even
stop.
know the question that was
Full stop,
posed.
guys. Full stop. Here's the question again.
I'm
What
not gonna. You guys are like you guys are hateful. You have a lot
I'll
of
leave
anger for
then.
something, and
How
I'm just
is
gonna
it
exit the
hateful?
live because I have nothing bad to say. I'm not a racist, by the way.
Oh,
Either.
okay.
All right,
We're
Oh,
leave
don't
then.
worry,
hateful.
Queen.
We're
I'm getting the clip
hateful.
of you being racist to Nate. You are
We're
a racist.
hateful
Oh,
because
shut
Even
up,
Jersey
sweetheart.
came
Shut
up.
up. Get a life,
Even
you old
even
bitch. Get a
even
you old
Jersey came
bitch.
up. Even
Even
Jersey came up
Jersey
and
came
said,
up.
"Is this
Yeah,
the
right,
racist?"
baby.
People remember you.
Okay,
You were
okay,
a
I'm not.
racist.
Why? How am I racist? How am I racist? Because I said somebody sounds Somalian. She's acting like a Somalian. What the hell? That's not racist.
That's not what you said. You were
What
being
I say?
racist towards Nate. You were making fun of his hair, his appearance, the fact that he's black. Like we
Oh, you're
remember
talking about
you.
the gay guy. You're talking about the gay guy that you're obviously not with.
Yeah,
You're
you
against
remember
yourself.
being racist towards him?
I wasn't being racist at all. No, I
You
wasn't,
were.
sweetheart.
You
Bro, you guys are
were.
beating a dead horse. Just boot him.
And he's
Yeah, get
not
over
gay,
it.
he's
I'm
bisexual,
out.
so get it right.
You guys are lame. Bye.
I'm getting the clip now. I've asked the
Hey,
person.
leave,
For the clip,
dummy.
don't worry.
Fucking lame ass bitch. Fuck you.
You're walking out.
The male aggression is wild, and you think and he really thinks it should be put in the women's seven. Oh, okay.
All right, Raw, can I play devil's advocate? I'm going to give you more tantalizing conversation. Holy. All right, can you define what a man is?
An adult human male.
Okay, and what's a male?
Male is of or denoting the sex that can produce small gametes.
How do we denote the smex?
How do we know? We don't denote the SMEX. We denote to producing small gametes.
Yes, that's what I mean. Well, how do you denote to gamete production?
It's through the Wolferian pathway.
Are you well for which case specifically are you talking about right now?
For males?
Okay. Are you familiar with Swire syndrome?
I'm not. No, I'm not an expert on DSDs.
Oh.
Swire syndrome? You mean the women that have full like uterus, fallopian tubes, vagina, just lack ovaries?
Hold on.
That's
No, Swire syndrome. Hold on.
Wait. Can you guys ban Queen Bambi because they're reporting?
It's okay. Yeah, Swire. If you are referring to Swire syndrome, they would denote female because the rest of their reproductive anatomy is structured around the production of the large gametes. So they just lack ovaries, so they may not produce the gamete, but the rest of their pathway denotes
No.
the production.
No,
And not
they
that
don't.
condition. Which one are you talking about then?
Yeah, so they don't have either one. Like the development's absent. They have streak gonads.
So Swires? You sure Swires?
Yeah, so they're genetically male, but they end up being phenotypically female.
So the only reason they're genetically male is because they have XY chromosomes. That's what they mean by genetically male. But women with Swire syndrome, if inseminated, can actually give birth. They can have kids. They just don't produce they just don't produce ova.
Yeah, they don't have ovaries or testes.
Yeah, so they denote female because their primary reproductive strategy is from the Müllerian pathway, which is the female pathway. So they have a uterus, they have fallopian tubes, they have a vagina. They can actually be mothers if inseminated.
Okay. I don't think that's true. Hold on.
Let's
You can pull it up. You can pull it
do the
up.
homework.
Yeah, I believe they neither have Malarian or Wolfian. I'm not sure though. Let me double check.
I don't think that's Swires that you're referring to then. If
I don't think that's possible. You either go down one or the other.
yeah,
Well,
you do.
I did read that there was a condition where the
Maybe-
Müllerian pathway was severely underdeveloped. I'm just not sure which one it
Oh,
was.
so I know. Are you referring to persistent Müllerian duct syndrome?
Yes.
Okay, so persistent Müllerian duct syndrome, they would denote male because the Müllerian pathway is not formed at all. It's kind of just hasn't disintegrated during sex differentiation. And usually what it does is it collapses to the side and creates a hernia and they have to remove it. So they're male because their primary reproductive strategy is from the Wolfian pathway and their Müllerian pathway just didn't disintegrate during sex differentiation.
But then
I've
I
done
guess
way
I
too much
have to
research into
ask
this.
Matt, what
Can
would
we
that have-
debate? Can we debate an actual op? Savvy Dream Girls an actual op? Oh, they left.
they dropped.
Fine.
Well,
Hang on, I'm just getting a cup of tea. 1 sec.
because they weren't loading. So hold on. Let's kickflip.
I thought Müllerian ducts happened in the Müllerian pathway.
Hi,
No,
Miss
so-
Kickflip.
so
Can
I-
I get your age for TikTok, please?
I'm 29.
All right, and our trans women.
I had one question. In terms of transgender, do your X and Y chromosomes change when you go through that?
No.
They don't?
No.
No.
So, in terms of like trans women, like biologically speaking, like you can't change, like does the chromosomes count in any
No.
chance?
No.
Nothing?
You don't
No.
define things by chromosomes, so no.
Let me put it to you like this. Even if they go through bottom surgery, they're still using the male organ to create what would look like the female orifice. But those are still male parts, right? That person, when they developed as a male. So nothing that they can do will ever reverse that, change that, flip it, none of that. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. It's
Now, in terms of the question, is this in terms of like, do you guys think that trans women are men, or do you think that they're women?
You think trans women are men? That's why it says trans women are men. Prove me wrong. That's why it says that.
Well, we don't think it. We know it. Like there's no like it's just a fact. Like there's no opinion. It's not like, oh, is it? Is this? It's like literally an objective truth.
Because I know I go into like different TikToks and like the question is like reversed, but I've tried, but now that you've clarified in terms of like X and Y chromosomes, like technically biologically speaking, if you can't change your X and Y chromosomes, then you're still biologically.
But
Well, we don't
Oh, go ahead.
differentiate. Yeah, we don't differentiate the sexes by their chromosomes. It's by their production of gametes, and females produce large gametes and males produce small gametes. And yes, there are DSDs, but there is a reproductive pathway and strategy that every human being goes down, and it's either one pathway called the Müllerian pathway for females or the Wolferian pathway, which is for males. And they go down either one or two reproductive pathways. That's how we differentiate between the two sexes. So once they've gone down one path of development, there is no reversing that.
And that's what the pills do, correct?
No, what the pills do is, okay, so males predominantly produce testosterone. They do produce estrogen. Some males produce less testosterone than their peers. Doesn't mean that they're less male, just means that they're hormonally imbalanced. females experience the same thing. Now, when you take a male and you suppress their natural testosterone and you increase their levels of estrogen, they start to get features like softer skin, softer hair, and less facial hair. It changes physical characters of how they look. And so when females take testosterone, which is the more predominant of the two, the effects are far greater. They grow facial hair, they're able to increase their muscle mass significantly, whereas estradiol and estrogen would basically reduce muscle mass in males and decrease their bone density, and things of that nature. So it would simply alter them cosmetically and slightly genetically, but that doesn't mean that we would then place them in the opposite sex category.
So, in terms of this, like, I do agree with your statement. Trans women are men, still specifically stating in terms of that, because there's only ever two chromosomes. There's X and there's Y chromosomes. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, there's XX and there's XY, and then there are variations of XX and XY. I think there are like 46 different variations of them. So that's why we don't differentiate the sexes by chromosomes, because you could have a male who has XYX or X, and a female could have XXY chromosomes, right? And so if we did that, if we created categories for every type of chromosomes, we'd be saying that there are 46 different sexes within the human species. So what we did was, through science, we were able to determine, okay, there are XX and there are XY, but then there are variations of both. So we categorize them into two, male and female.
Fair enough. That makes a lot of sense in terms of that. But yeah, like, I read your statement, and this is like the first time I've ever came into like a TikTok reading a statement like that. I didn't want to join and like prove you wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, you're
Because
more than
like
welcome to
I
come in.
believe you're right. Like, a trans woman, no one can be a woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, women go through specific things that men can't go through.
Guys, give her a round of applause. I'd like to know how to do it.
Yes, we love people who come and learn.
We love
Like,
people hearing it.
Because a woman, like me, myself as a woman, I don't know how to explain it. Our emotions are a little bit more different than men. And the thing that I also want to bring up when going through these lives and just kind of sitting there and just listening and seeing what they have to say, a lot of them can't, like, I'm 29 years old. I was born in the 90s. And like, my parents, they were religious, right? And a lot of them want the respect in terms of, we want to be respected as trans people. But yet when you ask them a question, oh, hey, do you respect religion? They'll sit there and bash religion 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of see what I'm getting at?
Well,
yeah.
they don't see their ideology as a religion. That's the funny part. But it is very much so like a cult, like a religion. It's based on beliefs. There's absolutely nothing based in reality. It's all belief that like there's these lady brains, or there's these lady feelings, or there's this lady identity that these men can have. None of it is based in anything except for sexist, misogynistic, idiotic belief. And I don't have any respect for their cult or their religion, because it is dehumanizing and objectifying towards women. And I don't like, you can't just wear us as a costume and perform stereotypes and gender roles and then call yourself a woman. Like, none of that is based in reality. So the only way that they're women is in language. So we have to battle the language. We have to use We have to not use their wrong sex pronouns. Like, it's very important to use correct language, correct pronouns. To dismantle the language of their ideology is really important. So not using words like cis, not using words like gender affirming care. There's nothing caring about destroying healthy
What
bodies and
me
healthy systems to create a mimicry of something they're not.
what makes me a
So
little bit upset about that community is when you misgender them, they get very, very, very upset.
see right there, though, that's part of the ideology. You just said misgender. You didn't misgender them. They are asking you to misgender them, and then they're calling it misgendering if you don't misgender them. So it's actually like crazy making inverted type shit, where it's just like, no, actually, you are correctly gendering them. When you say she, her to a woman and he, him to a man, that's the correct gendered language
Yeah.
for that human being. They are asking you to use wrong sex pronouns for them. They're asking you to use opposite to what they are pronouns in order to pretend that they are something that they're not. So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
Wait,
misgendering.
Martha, I want to get this. I got me and Yams. Was it Yams? I think me and someone else yesterday. We were in a live, and we got told that we were saying slurs to these trans people because, for example, this trans woman, mind you, this man just sounded like your regular, schmegular, feminine gay man, right? And I was calling him a he, and these people were saying that I was calling him slurs for calling him a
They
man and for
actually,
using he, him.
I haven't heard that in
Well,
a
my
while,
opinion
but
is
they were
fuck the
saying that.
trannies, fuck the
God.
LGBTQ
They
people,
were
fuck
saying
all of
they
them, man.
somebody drop that.
Yeah,
So
I
they
got
were
it.
saying that it was equivalent to the N word, to call a man, but I haven't heard that in a while. Like that was maybe over a year ago. They were saying that, like, oh, it's the same as saying the N word, and I'm just like, calling a man and using respectful male language for men is not the same as a
Right,
slur or the N word.
I was getting mad because I was in a live like a couple days ago, and it was talking about the gym, the woman that was trying to open her own gym, and how people were being like racist to her and stuff like that. And this one woman tried comparing black women to trans women, and they were saying, well, if you're calling a black woman a man, that's just being transphobic. That's not being transphobic. If you're calling a black woman a man, you're just anti-black and being racist. That has nothing to do with transphobia. Like, you're actually being inherently racist by making black issues trans issues, when that has nothing to do with being trans.
They have the audacity to compare giving women and girls privacy and dignity and safety away from the male sex to racial segregation. Like they have the audacity to also say that black women look like men. Like they do. They say it all the time. And I'm always like, you guys know black women don't look like men, right? Like you guys are the ones saying that, not us. Like gross.
Yes, I've been hearing like the same like people saying, well, people are assuming that some black women are men because they're masculine. I don't see anyone in my community, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see anyone in my community thinking that a black woman who is masculine and automatically calling them a man. Obviously not. So I'm
I
just
don't
so
think
confused.
I don't even think black women look masculine. I
Me
think that there
either.
are, like, there's probably just as many white women that look masculine as there are any other race of women. Like, there are masculine women and there are feminine women, but I don't think the black race of women look like masculine. I don't
Well,
I don't
what life
agree with
was
that at
trying to
all.
say. Life was trying to say that, and life was like, bro, I'm literally 6'2". I'm masculine. What's the difference between me and a black woman? Why is it that they're considered looking manly but not me? And all the people on the panel were like, oh, you're just a white woman. Like you don't get it. Like you're being insensitive to black people and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, but it's a genuine question though. Like black women don't look manly or masculine. You're
Like
just being racist.
here's the thing I
I
want
know
to ask
they're
you.
the
They're
ones
they're
saying that, not us.
assuming that you're white.
Oh, I get that all the time.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. They assume your race. So doesn't that kind of like contradict the whole thing of misgendering? You know what I mean? When you're assuming someone's race.
White people or anything like that. Like that they don't understand like racism, like what it actually means. But it's crazy because like I said, like yeah, I was on that live and they were saying that I was calling people slurs for saying he. And yet that man, that trans woman was allowed to be aggressive as fuck to me, was being rude, hostile, aggressive, all the sorts. That's fine. But I call you a he and all hell breaks loose. Like, oh my gosh, if y'all were on that live and there were some of y'all in here, these people, because we were saying he, they're like, oh my gosh, drop Bubbles because she misgendered. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Lucy,
It's
you
such
were asking
gaslighting.
about persistent Müllerian duct syndrome, right? What was your question?
Oh, you kind of clarified because I was having a debate with Alphaba. I don't know if y'all know
Oh,
who.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was
He's
talking
still
about how
around.
you either go through one pathway and the other, and they brought up Müllerian duct syndrome.
So
So
this
I
is
was
kind of what
under.
Müllerian duct syndrome looks like, right? Like, let me turn my brightness down for you. So this is kind of like a brief example. So they are like this. So they can have remnants of an ovary and one testy that's undescended, but they develop male. So they develop pretty much primarily down the Wolffian, and then sometimes they have the remnants of the Müllerian. And usually what happens is it falls. It like will fall and then create like a hernia, so they have to remove it. So it's there, but it doesn't ever develop past like anything of like the basic like the ducts. Like these don't turn into like functionary ovaries. The gonads can turn into testes that are functional, but yeah, it usually happens like this, and then the Müllerian remnants falls, and then they have to take it out.
Oh, okay. Because I was under the impression that it happened in the Müllerian pathway, hence why it's called Müllerian duct syndrome. So I
So it's
guess I
called
was kind of.
persistent because basically what happens is the testosterone, for whatever reason, doesn't, like the Müllerian structure doesn't disintegrate due to the testosterone like it's supposed to. So it's a persistent Müllerian duct. So it's not going anywhere, but it doesn't form into like ovaries and that kind of stuff. So it usually like collapses instead of shriveling
So
like
it's
it should.
basically
And it doesn't
just
make
the
them
Müllerian
whole.
pathway gone wrong.
But they develop fully, like not fully, but they develop primarily down the Wolffian, so they are male. But the issue is their Müllerian duct, for whatever reason, doesn't shrivel like it's meant to when the testosterone triggers. So usually in sex differentiation, the testosterone in the activation of the Y gene causes the Müllerian duct to shrivel up and disintegrate and kind of just like not be non-existent. And then usually the bipotential gonads develop into testes. But what happens is the Müllerian duct just for whatever reason doesn't shrivel away.
So is that what they
Oh,
mean when
okay.
they say we all start out as female? That there's a default Müllerian pathway that has to disintegrate, or else you'll just.
No, so there's both. So there's both. At about 3 to 4 weeks, you develop. So before 3 to 4 weeks, there's nothing kind of like there sexually, but around 3 to 4 weeks, you develop a Wolffian and Müllerian pathway. So you have both.
Oh, okay.
And basically, then what happens is if the Y chromosome activates and triggers testosterone and anti-Müllerian hormones, the Müllerian pathway will then disintegrate or like dissolve away.
Is there a vice versa?
Yeah, so the
DSD?
vice versa is like there's a protein that I can never remember the name of. There's a protein that activates and it causes and it stops the production of the testosterone, which then without the testosterone, the Wolffian ducts can't like develop, so they disintegrate, and the Müllerian pathway will then develop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Guys,
basically, the
guys,
Müllerian pathway is just not
W ruined the chat.
disintegrating.
W ruined the chat for showing us.
Yes, W Rue for
all that
educating
beautiful
me.
I have like a
education.
really like easy, simple video on like sex differentiation if anyone wants to watch it.
So, in terms of transgender men, do they have ovaries?
Yes.
Yes, because they're
No, they wouldn't, because trans men, yes, because to be a
trans
trans
men.
man, you have to be a female.
yeah,
But they
trans men
wouldn't
are-
produce eggs. That's the only thing.
They
Well,
can.
no,
So they can.
they would produce eggs because they're female.
I mean, unless they get a hysterectomy and they get an ovarectomy or whatever. But here's the thing: like, you have to understand that the trans isn't a thing. All it is people taking measures to mimic something that they're not. So there's not a natural phenomenon. There's nothing. This is not a DSD. It's literally just perfectly healthy males, perfectly healthy females most of the time, just taking measures to mimic the opposite sex. So they'll take wrong sex hormones, which will mess up their endocrine systems. They'll cut off healthy body parts, and they'll put on fake simulacrums of the opposite sex, but they aren't actually doing anything except for getting extreme cosmetic surgeries to look like something they're not. So it's like if I wanted to pretend I was a cat and I went and got these weird little ears fashioned on the top of my head, or or like anything to make me look like a cat. I'm not becoming a cat. There's nothing biologically happening here that's creating a
No,
cat.
because you wouldn't be
I'm
able to
just
be a cat ever
I'm
because
just,
you.
and these men cannot be any kind of female or any kind of woman. When they put wrong for their sex hormones in their body, that does not create a female body whatsoever. And even the breast tissue, or the what looks like breast tissue, is just gynecomastia. Like they're not becoming female whatsoever. It's simply mimicry.
Also, Martha, I want to touch on something. If you guys know who Frankie is, Francesca, is a trans woman. This motherfucker told these couple GCs that have family members that have either passed away from cancer or that have cancer. He told them that having gender dysphoria and being trans is worse than having cancer. Also, there was a trans woman named Samantha who compared trans woman oppression to being a Jew during the Holocaust and getting schmurdered, comparing themselves to 6 million Jews who have been schmurdered. There was also this person that told me that if you're going to allow your child to get cancer treatment surgery, then that's also the equivalent of gender affirming care. So these people are actually mentally unwell. So there's that.
What? Radiation
And
therapy
wildly disrespectful.
is not gender affirming care. What the hell?
Well, that's
Well,
what I
there's
was
no
saying.
care, and that's the euphemism of that term. Like what they're doing is medical atrocity. It's a medical scandal, and we're actually at the, like, if you look at the research, we're at the tail end of this medical scandal, and the fact that people still push it as a legitimate treatment for anything is just like pushing lobotomies as a legitimate treatment for something. Like it's just so the only reason why this is allowed to keep going is because we keep using the terminology, things like gender affirming care. There's nothing care about this. There's nothing treatment about this. There's nothing medicine about this. This is pure and utter medical malpractice, medical atrocity, and medical scandal being perpetrated on children and on vulnerable populations of people. And so it's just unethical. There's nothing ethical about it.
I feel like
But I gotta drop down, guys. I got a family time.
Thanks,
All right.
Martha. Good night. Sorry, go ahead, Miss Kate.
I feel in terms of these transgender people that some of them may need to like mentally process what's going on in their brain because
The problem is sometimes some of them don't even have that opportunity because the medical industry gets a hold of them at a young age, right? And so kids can't even consent to the things that are going to happen to them and that they're going to be subject to.
but
And I
when they start talking about, there's this one that I was watching when they were talking about anybody should, like, I don't know if you can tell me what gender affirming care is, but from what I can, I guess, put the words together, I guess they want gender affirming care is like them going into, let's say they go to the hospital or something, and they want to make sure that they're treated as the gender that they want to be noticed as.
Yeah, so like there's many things that encompass gender affirming care. That includes social transition, right? So emulating, the gender that you feel most comfortable with within society. But then there are those who experience distress as it relate to their oncoming puberty and so they'll take things like puberty blockers to suppress that. But then in other instances, they might be given cross-sex hormones to start those physical changes to their body. And very, very seldomly, but we have seen an increase where there will be cases of vasectomies and bottom surgeries and things of that nature with minors.
They expect these things to be covered by, I don't know if you're from America or Canada.
I'm Canadian.
You're Canadian. So in Canada, from what I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that transgender surgery is covered.
Yeah, by
But
Medicare.
my question is, okay, if you want that surgery and it's covered, why are other surgeries that people need because they have something medically wrong with them not covered?
Well, essentially, what's happening is like they're creating a new customer. Once they've gotten someone to go down the path of transition, they're going to seek out, other forms of chemicalization and medicalization, sterilization, reconstructive surgery. So it's, videos that I've seen where, pharmaceutical companies are going to hospitals and gender affirming clinicians are going to hospitals to remind doctors and hospitals of the price tag of, a patient who seeks gender affirming care and sex reassignment surgery, because it comes with a load of complications. For those who get it right the first time, they're very, very lucky and fortunate to be in that situation. But for most of them, they go through a lot of medical issues down the line. And so I don't know. I don't see the benefit at the end of the day. All points to, shortening the lifespan of the individual for a mere glimpse of happiness in the short term. And that just doesn't make sense to me.
I see in the chat here that they do bully and threaten anyone who disagrees, and I agree with that statement. They do. And I feel like when they do their live streams, they put statements out knowing very well that there's a good amount of the population that disagrees with transgender, and they are looking for that drama or something out of that live stream. Because when you sit there and you go up against them, I've noticed that they sit there and they will call you names, they will cut you off mid-sentence, but then when you try to say something, they have like these narcissistic like comments and personalities.
Welcome to the ball game, man. Yep, that's
That's a form, to me, that's a form of running. If you're making points to them and then they just keep insulting you and they're not actually trying to have a debate, that's a form of running. They're running from the conversation. They're just trying to get under your skin because they know they can't debate you correctly.
But then they use these big words, and myself, I've like read up on narcissists and narcissistic abuse, and narcissists tend to like to use big fancy words so they sound more
sophisticated, smarter, intelligent.
sophisticated, so that when you're sitting there trying to have like a normalized, simplified conversation with them, you're confused because they're using all these big fancy words and they want you to feel like you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, look, the most important thing is that you know who you are, right? And you know what your belief system is, and don't let anybody ever question you or make you feel anything different. Despite their efforts, they're going to try and chip away at you. What we like to do here is we like to challenge the ideas, right? We don't like to talk about the individual, right? We don't know any of us, like we don't know one another, right?
No,
So what is the point of trying to pick each other apart on a personal level? Look, if you disagree and if you can't articulate your point, then don't be in the conversation in the first place, right? But at the end of the day, if you can't come to the table and have a decent conversation, all right, and a back and forth about your ideas, then you shouldn't really be at the table having the conversation in the first place.
Right.
And I would say don't let their words empower you, right? And don't let them get a reaction out of you, because ultimately what you've said to them is based, and you've stimulated a reaction from them, and they have no respectful way to communicate back to you. So they try and demean you, they try and put you down, they try and insult you, they try and call you a bigot, hateful, MAGA, transphobe, and all this crap. Listen, don't take it with a grain of salt, and develop thick skin. You'll be just fine.
Now, have you had any of them come into your live streams before and actually challenge your
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1000%. I mean, most of the people on this panel, we spend a lot of time on, on each other's panels, debating opposition, and trying to have conversations with people. And we've ultimately, gone toe to toe with, really strong debaters from the other side. I've lost a couple, but I've also, won a great deal as well, and we kind of stick together, and we lean on each other. Like, this evening, Rue has, a plethora of information at her disposal. So when the individual asked me about a DSD condition, Rue stepped in, and was able to come in and save the day, and present all the data and facts to support it. So,
I know way too much about DSD. It's not even funny. I know way too much.
Hey, Twiggy, can I get your age for TikTok, please?
Yes, I'm 31.
Excellent. And are trans women?
No, they're adult human males.
That's right. We agree.
I mean, I don't know if I can speak. I came in a little late. I actually just had a couple questions because I follow a couple of you guys, so I was just kind of curious about some stuff.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
So like I don't know. I was on Rue's live before, and then I went to a different live, and I'm trying to figure out because I agree with I agree with everything, but I got onto a live, and I'm trying to understand the whole argument of trans women and women are biological women.
You want me to break down their argument?
I would generally, because it does not make sense. I mean, I get what they mean by a living organism, but I'm not quite.
That's their argument. That's just their whole argument. So they're arguing that they're biological women because they think they're women, and as human beings, because we live and we breathe, we're biological.
Yeah, we're biological organisms.
So we're like living organisms, which is the definition of biological. So therefore, there are women. That's the argument.
Yeah, so they're saying that. Yeah, that's literally it. They're saying we're biological women because we're all biological, obviously, as humans, and that they think they're women, so they're biological women. That's literally their argument.
Well, how do you counter that? Like, I think that's why, because I mean,
you just get them to define woman.
Yep.
Okay, because even with the biological part, because that does make sense because you still have to be able to find a woman, even if you're an organism. There's different.
Can I ask something?
Sorry, what? Sorry, I thought something.
No, you're good.
I think that honestly, y'all, that was pretty much all I was wondering. So I can drop down. I didn't really want none, but I just was like trying to figure that out.
You know what, though? It's nice when I see these people in my lives put voices to the names.
Yeah, I follow you, and I think I follow. Actually, I feel like I follow almost everybody here. If not, I probably will. But I was generally wondering that because I keep seeing that, and it doesn't make sense to me. So, thank you. I appreciate it, Rue.
No, you're good.
Have a good night, yeah.
Stopping by.
It's funny because if trans women really were women, why is it this such huge controversy to let them in the women's bathroom? Like if they really were women, why would people care so damn much? Like, I don't understand.
I figured out my other question. Sorry, because I know I had another one. So that one, was it Tony that just said that? That is such a good question because the whole aspect of being in the women's bathroom is to affirm your gender ideology. If you're affirming it based on the aspect that you want to be like the opposite sex or gender or whatever, because they say it's different, I don't really care. If just like for just an experiment, all biological women just didn't go in there, would they still want to be in there?
I doubt it.
The thing that I don't understand is like, why do they want to use the women's bathroom so bad when they have now transgender bathrooms in almost every single public place now?
I think that's why I like the background that they use, where it's like if women weren't involved, would they still want to use the spaces? The answer is no. Also, St. Jude, stop being a fucking pussy ass little bitch and stop talking about me in the comments. You always do this shit. You always do this. No, because Jude always fucking does this shit. He always talks about me in the comments. He never or she never comes up on a panel. You never fucking do shit. Come up and debate me, please. I'm tired of your fucking ass talking shit about me in the comments. I'm tired of
St.
it.
Jude doesn't like going up on panels. He's just a complete pussy.
Because Jude's a little pussy ass little bitch. That's why.
Go back to Delirious.
Tony just got a follow for
St.
me.
Jude. Go back to Delirious.
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Because it's so because all Jade and Cave have been doing in this comments is bubbles. Well, how about you come up and debate me then? Oh, you can't.
Oh my
Because
gosh,
you
are
don't know what
you
you're talking about.
Bubbles?
Oh, okay. Yes, I am.
Girl, sorry. Got so many accounts.
Damn, Bubbles.
I stay following Bubbles. Bubbles
Sorry,
don't
I had
follow
to
me.
do it. I had to. Sorry.
I understand. No, I just thought it was funny because I always ask. Sorry, I'm gonna drop, but I did want to just respond just because Miss Kick Flip. When you were saying why did they want something, that's why I was asking because I feel like it's nothing but affirmation. Like they need people outside to affirm it, and that's why I was curious. I'm like, if we didn't explain it,
Well, that's the thing. They sit there and they have these debates all the time saying, oh, I should be allowed to use the right restroom. And I'm like, as if like the world hasn't made universal bathrooms.
Precisely.
yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
But
If you really like, why do you have this need to use a woman's bathroom?
I love how
I'd rather have a private bathroom than go share a bathroom with 10 million other women. You know what I mean? Like I like a private bathroom.
I love how Jude was like, you don't want to debate me, Bubbles. Bitch, you're just saying that to get out of debating me. Like, nobody is scared of Jude. Nobody's scared of you. You never come up on panels. All you do is talk shit in the comments. You never actually come up and debate. Just admit you know what you're talking about. What?
Is that like the non-binary Jude?
Yes, the day dem, yes.
Oh, Jude! I remember Jude. When did they change their name to Saint Jude?
Honestly, I don't remember. I just remember them coming into lives.
Hi, Jude!
Has anyone had a conversation with a non-binary person that could actually describe what a woman or man was?
No. Non-binary doesn't exist. Non-binary is just a mental illness, just like being trans.
Well, I agree with that. I'm just curious if you
can't
actually.
even find her identity.
Is it an illness or a disorder? Like, which one
No,
is it?
I would heavily argue. I would argue that people who are non-binary and they thens didn't get any parental love.
Oh.
If you technically think about it, in life in general, even in plants, there are male and there are female plants. Just like any other species that you see out there.
There are species that are hermaphroditic. There are species that can change.
Yeah, but humans can't. We're not hermaphroditic species.
No, we're gynecardic.
We're gynocaric.
Yeah, we're gynocaric. I agree. I'm just saying like that. Yeah, there are hermaphroditic species, but we're not one.
Drew, can I ask you something?
We're not. Yeah.
I also follow some of you guys on this panel and like people who discuss these matters in general. And I have recently like started going into debates like this, and I've tried to debate some like anti what we are talking about basically. Many people go to the argument about the brain and like how there's like brain structures that are
Wait, weren't you in a live where you couldn't find a source for that? I just saw you.
Probably.
I know me and this person talk a lot. We talk a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably I was live like that. But I'm trying to like debunk this brain thing, and I know it has been debunked, but I don't really know how to argue it. What do you guys say? Because I know Nate talks about function and structure, but can somebody break that down for me, please?
I can try. Nate obviously is better. So the argument is that there's no functional differences between the male and female brain. The structural differences that we refer to are generalized and they're not specific to male or female. They're kind of like generalized differences that both can possess, or they're more common in another. So the idea of like a lady brain and a male brain is presupposing that the male brain and the female brain are completely different and that there's no like crossover and that they function in an entirely different way to the opposite. Whereas despite the fact that neurology's been trying to find that, they've not found any evidence that that's the case. They find like occasional structural differences that both male and females can have.
Let me ask you guys a question. In terms, I think that there
Thank you.
is a male and a female brain, because when a woman becomes a mother, your brain changes and you have these things called motherly instincts, which men don't have as much as the woman does.
That's not you having a female brain, though. That's just you having instincts in your head. Like, we all have our sudden instincts or intuition.
Well, doesn't the brain, when you become pregnant, which I'm wondering if this is what you're asking, doesn't it like, I don't have a source, but I've heard it before, like shrink like a certain percentage or something? That's.
Right?
Again, you're talking about the structure and not how it functions,
I was
right?
just about to ask. That's still structural. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
all.
still structural. So like size and stuff like that, it is structural. So
Okay, never mind.
They might even bring up a study where they make the claim that the transgender woman's brain has shifted more towards cis women.
I hate that study because it is with them. They're like, oh, would trans women's brains shift towards women's brains? So that means, and then they give you the study and you read the study and it says that although that structurally they may differ from male brains, they're still much closer than what would be seen as like structurally normal for a male than a female.
Yeah, and
They just
comparable
deviate
to that,
from like the generalized average.
yeah, and comparable to the size of like gay men, for example. So it's
Rue, can I ask you another thing?
yeah. Go ahead.
What about like interschmicks? Because a lot of like anti like to like pivot towards interschmicks.
Intersex are still male or female, so they don't have like a different brain. Like, they're still male or female.
So depending on which intersex condition that someone is affected by will be which sex they are. So like Klinefelter's, for example, it only affects males. Swires and Turners only affect females. So depending on which condition they have would be what sex that they are. So if someone starts talking about intersex, I always ask them which condition they're referring to specifically, and then half the time they don't know what I'm asking because they don't actually.
Well, oval testicular
And, like,
disorder affects both sexes.
Yeah,
So
it
it
affects
depends.
both sexes.
Not only
depending-
that,
But you have to have one. You're either
Okay,
one
okay.
sex or the other.
it would
When
be
we
bad
talk-
faith. It is bad faith to bring up intersex conditions because their whole argument is predicated on sex and gender being separated.
Yeah, that's true also.
Oh.
With overtesticular as well, it can affect either males or females. It's known as pseudo-hermaphrodism, which is one of the closest we've seen to hermaphrodites in humans. But they will either be primarily structured around either the Wolffian or the Müllerian. So they'll be one or the other. But it's a pseudo-hermaphroditic intersex condition. But pseudo is there for a reason.
What does
Well, but also,
particular?
I don't know why people bring up the intersex thing anyways, because the majority of trans people are not intersex anyway, so there's no reason to bring it up. Like, people, like, I feel like people forget how rare intersex actually is. Like, people think it's like this common thing. And like, people hear all the time are like, oh, I'm intersex, so I have this condition. Like, most of the time they're just fucking lying about it. Like, intersex is more of a rare thing than people think it is.
Yeah, it's mostly like a pivot thing, like when they get into the corner and confidence. But what about like the definition in whole, like of or primarily denoting the production of large gamete? When we're talking about primarily denoting the production of large gamete, are we talking about people with like interschmecks conditions? Or
So the denoting would cover the intersex conditions.
Yeah.
So obviously
Alright.
all people will produce gametes, so women with swires don't have it. But the reason they denote female is because the rest of their reproductive strategy is from the Müllerian pathway. So they have a uterus, they have fallopian tubes, they have a vagina. So that's how we know they're female. So that's why we put denoting in there for the people that don't produce the gametes.
because I argued like Alicat the other day, and she was like, "Oh, but trans women also denote to the."
Oh yeah, and then Alley Cat brings up breasts, and Alley Cat also told me that a vagina is
Oh,
Wait, Alley Cat also told me that a
Arguments are
vagina was a
weird.
secondary sex characteristic.
Yeah, her
she
arguments
just like
are weird.
but she just. Sorry, I'm laughing so much. I need to mute.
No, Rue, sorry, just what you said with, darn it, I almost lost it. Because somebody was arguing with me. Maybe I need to mute because I think I'm forgetting what I was going to ask, but I'll remember.
I mean, I think like of all the opposition debaters, I don't dislike Alley Cat. Like I think they're fine, but I just think that they're not grounded in what they say, and they do kind of.
Alley Cat the same
I
one
was
with
like-
like short hair? They're a trans woman with short hair, or is that someone else?
No.
I
Alley
feel
Alley
like-
Cat is a female.
But I feel like Alicat's
No, I
whole
think it's
like
wrong.
point is to try to like just make you confused and try to like fall for her tricks.
I think Alley Cat confuses themselves. I've seen Alley Cat trip up over their own different. I think Alley Cat confuses themselves sometimes.
Yeah, because people ask them questions and they'll be like, no, I didn't say that. I'm like, you absolutely did say that. What are you talking about?
Wait, Raw, I have a question. How long do you plan on being live tonight?
I don't know. I'm playing it by ear.
Oh, well, because I was gonna shower and I want to come back. Huh?
Okay. Oh, sorry.
And guys, can I ask a general
You're
question?
one of those people that takes a shower for an hour. I can't guarantee shit. But if you're like,
If it's it depends on the shower. If it's like an all-in shower where you do everything.
Well, I have to shave, wash my hair. You know,
what is that? Isn't that like an everything shower? Is that what they call it?
I'm going to the beach tomorrow, so I got to do it all. You know.
We love those. Yes.
Yeah, and then when you get into bed after an everything shower, it's like
everything. You feel so clean. Sorry.
But the bed needs to be clean too. Then.
Yeah, you gotta change your sheets. You gotta change your sheets.
You gotta change your sheets. Gotta make your bed the whole 9 yards. Yep.
I can't do everything showers like that because I can't sit in hot water or I'll faint.
Well, that's why I've actually changed because I used to take like boiling hot showers. But ever since like my mom passed away, I've had like extreme health anxiety, so I get scared when I like pass out. So like I've actually switched to cold showers, and it's actually a lot more peaceful to me than boiling showers.
I'm so bad. I literally have pots, and I will have like showers so hot that like I come out with like red skin, and like a lot of times I've nearly passed out getting out of the shower, and I have to sit on the edge of the bath for like 2 seconds because I'm like I need to stop. Like pots is serious. I gotta stop.
Well, that's how I used to be too.
What triggers your pots?
Rue, weren't you the same one that has like really low blood pressure, or is that someone else?
No, yeah, I also have. There's a lot of us though.
Yeah, so that's how I am. Like I used to take like boiling hot showers, like to the point like that you could see like the steam, but like now it's like I literally can't. Like I can't do it.
Also, Kayla, I don't have POTS. I have symptoms of it. I'm never gonna tell myself I have something without getting diagnosed. That's just me.
Love that.
Yeah, I also run lower for my blood pressure, and it gives me so much anxiety. Like the other day, my blood pressure was like 94, like over like 63, and I was like,
yeah,
that's a little bit low.
I have the opposite. I have high blood pressure, so it makes me dizzy.
I went to have my those who like know me and are in the Discords. I had my wisdom teeth out recently. And I remember when I went and they took my blood pressure because the dentist is my cousin. They did my blood pressure and they were like, your blood pressure is kind of low, but you're like freaking out a little bit because I don't like dentists. And I was like, nah, for me, that's incredibly high. Like, you don't understand, like, that may be low, but for me, that's high.
Wait, you were at the dentist and you were scared of them and he said it's low? It should be higher then.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. My blood pressure is like, my resting blood pressure is really low. So even though I was stressing out, it was low on average, but for me, it was really high.
Wait, Rue, do you mind sharing what like is low for you? If you don't want to, this person.
I mean, I average like, let me find. Hang on, let me find.
So I remember you posted it in a Discord server once, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. Let me age check this person. Learn how old
are you guys using the digital ones? They're not always super accurate.
What did you say?
Are you guys using the digital ones? They're not always super accurate.
Sorry. He's trying to get an age check.
Yeah. Okay. Lauren, can I get your age, please?
Yes, I'm 43.
You're a little muffled, by the way.
It's okay. And do you think trans women are women?
Hell no.
Oh, she said hell no, please. That's funny as fuck. Oh, I remember it was me and Muppet who got kicked for saying, quote, slurs because we were calling trans women men. Okay, it was Muppet. I remember now.
Well, I'm surprised.
My resting is usually 1/3/50.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
See, 103 is fine, but 50 is low.
But on average, that's really low, Tony. Like normal is like 120
that's
over 60.
That's my average. That's my I get that. That's my usual readings.
I mean, for me, like my
120 over 80. Sorry.
No, I mean for me, my blood pressure is usually lower too. Usually mine's like 107 over 70. That's usually mine.
103 over like 50 to 55 is my average, and then my pulse is usually pretty high. Like my pulse.
55. That's really low.
Yeah.
Guys, quick second. Rue, I gotta take my furry out for a walk. Do you mind pulling it down?
Yeah. Do I have mod?
Can you host it?
Yeah, you do. You have super mod power. And Learn, do you want to chime in? And then can we get someone to drop just in case Op does come in?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna drop.
Yeah, I was gonna drop. I wanted
I
to
can
ask one
drop
more
in like
question.
10
I was
minutes.
gonna
I
drop.
have a basic mod.
hold on. I was gonna drop because I'm gonna shower anyway, but I got distracted with my conversation with Rue. But I can drop if you guys need a spot. I'll join later.
I only
Shower,
have
I can
a
still have
basic
some.
mod, Shane. I don't have drop abilities.
Hold on.
What?
My blood
Okay,
pressure rests at like
I just wanted to ask
90.
Rue a question about the topic, and then I was gonna drop because I'm about to go to bed. So,
Yeah, what's up?
because you said you have a lot of information about, I forget it, DSMs. I don't know if that's the correct
DSDs?
term.
Yeah.
DSDs. My apologies.
Okay, you should be good to go, Ro. I'll be back, guys.
Okay.
DSDs, disorders of sexual development.
Yes, yeah. I misspoke. My apologies. But I was gonna say, because somebody made an argument, and I didn't think it made sense, but I didn't really know what to say. Where there's, and I can do my own research to find this out, but somebody said something about like there are people that were born with, like you said, the main reproductive strategy would be either one or the other.
Yeah, this
They
is
said there are
one.
people that are born with like nothing. That's not true, right?
That's not true.
Okay, I'm gonna do some research on that. I was just like, wait a second now, am I tripping? I'll find that out. But
My
thank you.
response to that is to always ask them which condition they're referring to, because I remember someone told me that there was a woman that was born with like a fully developed penis, and I was like, can you name me that condition? And they couldn't. So usually they just say things and expect you to not like question it, so I always ask them, what condition is that?
Okay, because I
Can you
figured
do
that
that
would
in
be
debates? Can you just pull up like fake facts and like
People
They
say
just
like
say stuff.
people say things all the time and just expect you not to question it.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna do some research. But I was like, I just wanted to know where to start because I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But I appreciate it. But y'all,
Rue?
right?
Rue,
Yeah. Hello.
do you know like good like panels or like no good like sources in general where you can like find out about informations like this? Because I'm not like good at googling just like that. Like
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, intersex is very hard to look up because the internet will tell you that they're both or they're neither. You have to like find specific like medical journals. I'm trying to at the minute like build like a resource library kind of thing of like all the intersex conditions, and I was gonna like put it in a Discord for everybody's access where I kind of like break it all down with obviously like sources and stuff. But intersex is pretty difficult to research, especially the more complex ones like over-testicular persistent Müllerian duct. But I would just say like medical journals, like up-to-date recent medical journals, and always like have multiple. So like fact check the medical sources against another, and like make sure that they're correlating, and then have a third one and kind of like deduce it that way.
all right.
But
I
the most
don't know if you're
time,
in Discord or you have Discord, but I have a few sources in there.
I need to get Discord. Like I think I was about to join your Discord, but like I need to make a new account and stuff like that.
I'm
So
thinking
probably-
of like a breakdown of as many conditions as I can think of.
Learn wanted to say something.
Yeah,
but
I
do
learned.
you realize with the trans community that they always they source of proving what they saying is always a university or a junk science, or it's never updated. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To prove it.
Yeah, a lot of the old sources are like, I know there's a lot of stuff from like the 1970s about like brain sex and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of them are either old, or if you read the studies, they don't actually say what the people are saying. It's like the one where they say that trans women's brains are closer to females. If you then actually read the study, it says the exact opposite. But yeah.
Exactly. Well, I've been kicked out a whole lot of lives because the way I always answer it is because it's common sense and it's reality. They mute me fast and quick. I've been called bigots. I've been called uh, old fashioned, old. Yeah, I, I'm mostly.
I
I
always
am.
reply with that, Lauren. I always say if protecting women's rights makes me a bigot, then I guess I'm a bigot.
I did too. They started this new. It probably no new thing. I don't be on TikTok a whole lot. They want to teach this to our children. Now I have children. I have grandchildren, and they tell me that how do they put it? Oh, because we're supposed to teach them good touch, bad touch. Okay, I believe in that. But then they turned around and said, well, if a child around 4 and 5 they want to come out as trans, and they might be born that way. I don't believe any child is born trans. I'm sorry, I don't have that kind of thinking. I don't. Kids
No,
don't
I
talk
don't
like that.
either. And I don't even think that kids are born with a sexuality. Like, I don't think you're born gay. I don't think you're born straight. I think it develops as you get older, because I
Yeah,
think
I'm getting a little
associating sexuality with kids for me is kind of icky. So it's kind of like, I think you have a predisposition to maybe be gay or straight, but I don't think you're born that, because I don't think at that age you have the capacity to have a sexuality.
Elijah, what would that oh, sorry, I called you Elijah because he talks about that. Sorry, what would that, what would that predisposition be that predisposes you to be of a certain either straight or gay or
I
whatever?
mean, honestly, like, it's just a theory. Like, I have no evidence to this technically. I think people just like are either born that they, like, you have a predisposition to have like depression, right? So like, if you have that predisposition, there can be anything that triggers that. And I think, like, if you have the predisposition to be born straight or gay, you're going to encounter something when you reach like that level where you're thinking about things sexually and romantically, and it triggers that. So like, if you're gay, maybe you encounter, and you're a man, maybe you encounter a man that you're like, wow, like, now I feel something for this person. Like, it triggers the
I see.
gay in you, for lack of a better word. And if you're straight, you encounter someone of the opposite sex, and you're like, boom, like, wow, like, you know.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Okay.
Just a theory, though. Just a theory, not backed by scientific evidence at all.
But they
Yeah,
say that's not.
It still makes more sense than the born trans thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
because
me and my sisters, like, we're all, I guess, like, my dad is somewhere in his lineage probably has the quote unquote gay gene, because my older sister's straight up lesbian. Me and my younger sister, we're both bi, like, we both dated girls and men, ever since I was like 3 years old. Like, I remember I kissed boys and girls. Like, I didn't, I didn't know, like, you had to choose one, because I'm greedy. And then it was like, oh, I'm supposed to choose. And I was like, no, I want to choose both. But then there was like other girls around me that they weren't even thinking about like being with another girl like I was. So I mean, I definitely believe that way more than like thinking that you're born in the wrong body. I just think that like everybody has like I had so many identity issues when I like for most of my life. And I think that people conflating like just having like some kind of, mental illness or some kind of disorder or just being unhappy with themselves. And because of that, they're like, oh, well, then I must be trans then, because I'm unhappy. And like with all of the like media attention and just like the rise of social media and everything, like you're seeing it more. So people that are confused aren't even like fixing the actual problems. They're just like putting a wrapping paper on a problem and then thinking that they resolved it. And it's like, you didn't. And you can invert your penis. You can do whatever you want. Most of the time, those people are still going to have the same problems.
yeah, Violet, when you say putting a wrap over it, that's what you're calling becoming trans, right?
I mean, well, I'm just saying, like,
Or like affirming their gender
like you're trying
confusion.
to make it pretty. You're trying to make your problems pretty and like wrapping them up and thinking that like now you're trans, that like you're gonna resolve all your issues, but you're not.
Whereas that person could have just been a confused person who's like being pushed towards this side to just get rid of that confusion or the problems that they're facing.
It's like masking it, but a lot of the time they're still miserable, and that's where you're seeing like this huge rise, even though God forbid you talk to anybody in the trans community about the rise of detransitioning, cardinal sin on like they're like, well, they're not really trans. It's like, well, how can you actually like say that? Like, you're not supporting these people that were in their community, and now because they're not reaffirming your delusions, because they realize like this is not the problem that they had. And if anything, they're more upset because
they put all these things in their body or taking these things off, and like a lot of those things are irreversible. So you're going to have health problems for life on top of the mental illnesses and problems that you already had.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that word up, irreversible. Rue, can I ask you something? What do you think about how some people or like some countries actually are for prepubescent or prepubertal puberty blockers? Do you think there are irreversible changes? Because some people argue that, oh, you can just put a stop on puberty and then just restart it again when you feel like, oh, maybe this wasn't for me. I want to continue on my
I mean, so obviously
natural
short term,
puberty
it's
process.
short term. I think short term there may be like very like minimal health effects. Maybe like if you're a female that starts it, maybe you'll have like things in your period, stuff like that. But like obviously, if you're on any medication for extended period of time, you're gonna have lifelong impacts. So it's kind of like one of the puberty and hormone replacement blockers that they use is Lupron, which we literally use to castrate.
Sex offenders.
Yeah, SMEX offenders.
Sorry.
So, like, they're not completely irreversible. I think obviously it depends what you're on and how long you're on it for. But the length of time that these children are going on these, and then they're going on cross-sex hormones immediately aftiwards, like that's irreversible.
And let's just be clear, Rue,
Anybody
thank you.
that's ever
Thank you
taken,
very much
I've taken
for
a
bringing
lot
it
of
up.
like medications, like antipsychotic, depression, whatever. Like, and I was taking them for years. Anybody that's really ever taken like hardcore like medication, that there are certain things that like my brain is not going to be the same as it was before the medications that I was taking. And I kind of wish that I hadn't. I was definitely over medicated. And so when I'm hearing people just justifying this, like, I know what it's like to be way over medicated and to be over prescribed. You have the health and medical insurance companies are the biggest companies. The health industry is the biggest companies in America. So of course they're exploiting everyone. I was exploited. My brain, my problems were exploited. There is no way that people can justify and literally ignore the fact that their problems and their pain are for profit.
You know what I never grasp is the people that say that puberty blockers are not reversible and they don't change that much, but then in the next breath they'll tell you in women's sports that if a man's been on like puberty blockers for long enough, he's just like a woman anyway. Like that never correlates with me. But
Oh my god, that's just such a good like comparison right there. I'm gonna use that one actually if I run into.
Just so you guys know, I'm back. Rue, thanks for holding it down.
Oh, welcome back, host.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for help.
Yeah, and just to be clear, puberty blockers were never tested and approved for the use of, healthy teenagers who wanted to suppress their puberty because of a mental condition. Right? This was primarily designed as, Rue had pointed out, as to chemically castrate a certain group of individuals, but it was also tested and approved for children with precocious puberty. As well as, certain ovarian cancers.
Breast cancer as well, yeah.
Well, that's what they were designed and tested.
Ridiculed by the whole community. So I started asking because, this whole like, oh, our rights, they took our rights, blah, 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 right? Like all that bullshit. First of all, I'm like, okay, well, what rights were being taken away? Also, more importantly, what constitutes someone to be trans? Like, what is the definitive qualifications where it goes from, like, if I wake up tomorrow and just say, like, I feel like I'm a man, does that just automatically, like, now I'm just a part of... Wait, hold on, because I asked, and I have not been able to get... Everybody has a different answer.
Yeah, so...
I think it's very problematic.
My definition of what trans should be is having the medical condition and diagnosis of gender dysphoria. But the ideology will have you say that it is based on one's innate sense of self. So it's self-ID, right? If you feel as though that your gender is that of the opposite sex, which is wild to me, therefore your identity is valid and you should be affirmed.
Right, and that's like but it's like not enough, because if I just say that I'm a man now, like I can just like walk into the men's room and just make everyone call me he. Like there's how can anybody, I mean, I don't even know how they would want anybody that's not in the community to understand even like what
But
trans is if they don't even have definitive markers for what trans is.
that's the thing. So many people that so many people who transition nowadays are not like diagnosed on the basis of gender dysphoria. Am I right? It's so many self-ID people who become trans
Well,
nowadays,
if
right?
you want to come up and just have a conversation, you're more than welcome. You're welcome to share your beliefs and your ideas. That's fine. We're not going to like target you as a person, but if you just want to come up here and share, we can have a conversation. Don't be shy. Sorry, guys, carry on.
No, I was asking you that, host. Do you feel like that's the situation nowadays?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
No, you were talking about like the basis of like being trans or whatever should be like based upon having gender dysphoria. But nowadays, I feel like so many people are just being treated or affirmed on the basis of self-identification. Do you feel like that's
Oh yeah,
right?
these are people who are gender euphoric, right? And anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But
All
yeah,
right.
there are absolutely individuals out there who are taking advantage of this, because they're lost themselves. I think someone else had said it. They're going through an identity crisis. They don't know exactly where they fit, and they're trying on different hats and multiple suits, and they're seeing what fits and what feels comfortable and who's going to affirm them and who's going to make them feel good. And that's how they find their identity. They look
Yeah.
outwards, right? This whole ideology is about having society and the people around them respect them by affirming their identities and this and that. How about you just look inwards, and ask yourself the real important questions and look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself who you are and what you believe in and what you stand by, right? And at the end of the day, you don't have to answer to anybody. Your
Yeah.
belief system is your belief system. You're going to walk your way of life. It's going to be your experience and nobody else's. If you choose to walk it alone, that's one thing. But you don't have to answer to anybody at the end of the day.
Mm.
Right. Host, can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Well, I haven't been on a trans community live for a minute, but one of the things I hate is when you got to announce your pronouns, and now they calling me because I'm biologically a woman. They calling me sis, and I hate that word because I look at it like this: I'm biologically a woman, but I'm a woman. That is all. Why do
Right.
they pissed off about that?
Well, look, I'd say this, you're giving them just too much power. You know what I mean? And if you think about why they're calling you that, right? It's to simply get underneath your skin, right? Because obviously they don't like the way that you practice your free speech. So they're going to practice their free speech in a way that like tries to get underneath your skin. So I just say don't let it bother you. I've been called a billion things on this platform, some pretty heinous things too. And if I was to take it and take it to heart, yeah, I'd probably just crawl up underneath a rock and never show my face again. But at the end of the day, like these are people that mean nothing to me. I'll never interact with them in real life. They don't add any value to my life. They don't help me grow. They don't help me learn. So, why should I give them that energy? Why should I be upset because they want to try and get underneath my skin? You know how I look at that? I've got the victory because I guess my essence, my presence, and my very being has made you stoop to a level to try and play dirty, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I take that as like a victory at the end of the day. I wouldn't let it bother you. Just let it like water off a duck's back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think with like women, it's because I think there's just so much more tension with women and trans women than there are with men and like trans men. Just because I mean, I'm sure there's definitely a lot of backlash and stuff, but for the most part, like it's really the women that are kind of being like the targeted through this. So. I think like I totally get what she's saying. Like it is really annoying because it's so much used more on us to invalidate or attempt to invalidate like us being women. And even though it shouldn't just be so bothersome, it it can be, I agree with you. Like, I'm really trying not to let it bother me, but I hate being called cis. Like, I hate it. It's just like that's not for me. And how is there even a possibility for me to even have any respect for anybody in that community when they're like intentionally using it to I guess to validate like their womanhood, which doesn't exist,
Yeah.
because it just can't be a woman. But like I get, like it's just being used. I don't want to say it's a slur because I don't feel like it is, but it is just annoying also because like as women, like that's just not how we grew up. That's not our names. Like we were never called that. And when someone keeps calling you something that you're not, it can be like, it can piss you off sometimes. Like it can be very annoying, especially for women, because it's like we don't need to prove our womanhood. But you're right though, it shouldn't bother me like as much, and I'm gonna try to not let it bother me.
Well, look, I'll tell you this. At the very least, don't let it show that it bothers you to them, right? Because they're going to end up treating you that way every single time because they've learned that once they can get under your skin, every time they interact with you, they're going to treat you that way, right? And they're going to try and get you to crash out. So I would just say, look, work on not letting it bother you. But if it still bothers you, just try your very best not to let it show. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Gentle. How old are you for the TikTok, please?
Hey, yes. So my name is Ryan. I'm 29 years old.
Awesome.
I just wanted to come up here and say that I don't think it's possible for a man to become a woman. And listen, I am a gay man. Like I grew up like I've always felt very feminine in the way that I act and all of that. But I don't think it's possible for a man to become a woman. And I think you can do everything you can. You can put the makeup on and all of that, but you're never going to be a woman. Now, does that mean I think that trans people don't deserve respect? No, I'm not saying that. I think trans people deserve to be respected, but at the end of the day, for them to claim women's spaces and act like they belong, in a women's bathroom and this and that, it's like, come on, like, get a grip. Like, have some self awareness and understand that you don't belong. You don't belong in those spaces. Like, you need to go and find your own bathroom or something. Like you don't belong in places like that. And I think it's very disrespectful to women and girls because there's grown ass men out here that are going into fucking women's bathrooms pretending to be women just so they can fucking molest little girls. And I know that's a controversial thing to say because you're gonna have all these, trans people saying, "Oh, like how dare you accuse us of being a part of that?" Nobody's saying trans people are rapists. I don't think trans people are rapists,
Use TikTok
but
friendly language, please, Gentle.
sorry, yes, grapists, but there are people who are going to take advantage of that. And if we're gonna really start changing laws and changing certain things, I don't think it's gonna benefit anybody in the long run. But anyways, you guys keep talking.
Thanks, Gentle. Taylor, can I get your age for TikTok, please?
Yeah, I'm 40.
Awesome. And do you think trans women are women?
No, I can't honestly say no. They can if they want to and believe in that as long as they're not harming anyone. I believe anyone can do what they want as long as they're not harming anyone else. So, if they believe it, great. But I don't have to pertain or act in that delusion.
Well, do you think trans women should have access to women only spaces?
Women only?
Yeah.
Why not just trans only?
Well, they're it, I appreciate the sentiment, but they're a very small minority of our global population. So to carve out, those spaces.
Why interrupt more of the majority for the minority? For like, why is that? Like, come on, do you understand where I'm going with? You know what I mean? Don't disrupt the lake when the puddle is. You know what I mean? Like, we're looking at marbles to stones here.
Right.
Majority rules,
I
right?
think you do advocate for a third space, right?
Well,
Where
why not?
individuals, and even individuals who are not comfortable using communal spaces could use their single unit spaces that increase the privacy.
But
dignity,
why it was offered even too in some states, but the trans community decided to want to go into the public two gender areas and infiltrate that, and it wasn't out of the two genders being like, oh, we normally go in here. Well, why don't just have another space? Like, it doesn't disrupt anyone.
Exactly.
But it seems like it's disrupting. It seems like someone wants to get known and be heard, and that's what you do. You disrupt the public peace. Just get heard, and I don't know. It's disingenuous.
Many of them, you know, I asked because I've been saying, like, why is it that, like, all of, like, the bars, all the places that are, you know, supporting, like, the trans movement, all, like, the doctors and places that you go, why are you not advocating to have them put some of that revenue aside to mandate for buildings that are being built or places to, you know, put into law that there needs to be, like, more gender neutral
It would
spaces,
give them. It
but
would
they
give
don't want that.
them like. It would give them honor. Like, oh, you have your spot now that you wished you had, but no, they want more. It's stepping, and it's not just the public spaces and disrupting. Like, we used to be a place where we could bring our kids into a public bathroom with our daughter or son and be able to go pee and come out and then not worry about it. But that's long gone now. We have this whole nother generation of I am not comfortable in my body. No medical or psychiatry or mental health is going to help me. And it's become a norm of just understanding there are crazy.
Hold on, can I just say one thing? So
Yeah.
we're living in a world right now where a man can put on some fucking shitty Party City wig that he bought, 2 days ago, and he can have his fucking man titties and hairy fucking balls and hairy, you know,
dangling.
all of this hanging out. And he can walk down the street and say, I'm a woman and I deserve all of the respect that a woman should get.
It takes away all the women's.
Guys, time out quickly. Can I get some volunteers to drop off? I got some people in the request.
I'm gonna ask one thing and then I can drop.
Yeah,
like,
go right.
You know, when people are like saying that, oh, woman and man is like a societal construct. I don't agree with that. Like, do you guys agree with that? Because like, I feel like
No,
man and
it's
woman.
not a
Can I
construct.
finish? Can I finish? I feel like man and woman just describes like the sexes, male and female. Like, a man is the adult male, and a female is and a woman is an adult female, vice versa, boy, girl. Like, but when they're talking about societal construct, they're talking about femininity and masculinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you say about that, host? Is that like...
So what makes you a woman just because you have feminine qualities? Like, I have feminine qualities. Does that make me a woman?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Those are like sexist
Yeah.
traits, right? And we shouldn't be defining individuals within society by like sexist traits, right? Like,
Yeah, that's where we get all fucked up. Is if you act in the bedroom like you act in the office, you know, Like you can't say that.
Yeah. Thanks for all the answers. I'm gonna drop for other people to like go.
You bet, Oz. Thank
So
you so much.
basically,
Bye.
if you want to be the bitch, you're gonna act like the bitch. You're gonna want it. If you want to be a manly alpha, it's an alpha beta debate.
You know what?
And if you want to be a
But
beta, you
what does
will be
gender
the
have to
beta.
do with any of this? It's like,
It's not a gender thing. It's alpha beta. It's
okay, I don't think it has anything to do with that either. I think some men tend to be more feminine, some women can be more
fucking
masculine. I
alpha, but
don't
you're a
think
fucking
that labeling
quiff.
people as male or female or non-binary, whatever the dumb bullshit that people are coming up
I
with.
don't see it like that either.
Hi guys, give me 1 second. Sweetie, can I get Sweet Ginger, can I get your age, please?
You know how old I am. I'm 53.
Oh, I'm sorry, love. I didn't
It's
recognize the
me.
profile. I
Yeah,
know. Okay,
it's
I'm
me. I
sorry.
just changed it.
I'm sorry, love. How you doing?
It's okay. I'm doing well. I had to hop on here. I don't think I've ever heard you have a panel like this. I'm kind
Oh,
of thrown. I'm kind of thrown.
why? What's wrong with the panel?
Now, I've just been hearing a lot of different things I'm not used to hearing on your lives.
Oh,
Nothing
like
bad,
what?
but I just was shocked.
Oh yeah, it's an open discussion. It wasn't too serious of a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I usually bring the
Education
heat.
about
I usually bring the heat. I know we're all talking about me, so
no.
Nobody
let's
cares
go.
about you. You're
No.
talking about you.
I know we're talking about me. Let's
No,
go.
it's all good. It's all good.
Hey,
I was
here's
just
one
gonna.
thing. I think lesbians shouldn't be able to own dildos or sex toys. They made their choice. They didn't want the penis in
what?
the beginning. They shouldn't
Sorry,
be able to
what?
own one.
What the
That's
See, this
fuck?
is what
Yeah,
I'm
you heard
talking
me.
My brother,
about.
there's no
What are
such
we?
thing as a lesbian.
That's
What are
wild.
we even talking about right now? What is that? What are we even talking about right
Lesbians
now?
shouldn't be able to
Are we talking
own
about?
penises of
Are,
any sort. They made the decision.
are we? Are we talking about transgender issues?
Yes,
It sounds
That's
like
that's
he sounds like he's talking about himself.
yeah, that's
well. I
guys.
don't
If
know.
you think trans women are women, please request the box and talk about it.
So
Host,
I
I
was just
got
gonna say, Raw, that I don't know if you guys are following the presidency because I'm in over in California,
Right.
and I am kind of excited about things that are happening as far as women's rights, right?
Oh yeah, hell
Um,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
so
definitely.
for me, right, it was sad that Trump had to sign an executive order saying that there's only two genders, right?
You got
Exactly.
your rights back.
He
What are you
got
talking about?
everything. We too old not to know that. That's kindergarten.
Well,
Women
that's
got
what
their
I,
rights back after he signed that. So what do you mean? You're contradicting yourself.
But this is why the Liberal Party is such fucking bullshit because it leads people who are in, the minority, at least is what they like to call us minority. If you're a part of the LGBT community or you're black or you're Asian or anything else, they like to lead us down these paths where we're supposed to support all of this dumb bullshit. And I don't understand why.
well, I don't
Because
support
it's
any of it.
pandering.
So if you want to say I'm contradicting myself, so be it, right? Stay
Well,
the
yeah,
fuck
how
out
can
of.
you support women's rights if you allow men to
Stay.
identify as women?
I don't.
Right.
I don't. You don't. Did you listen to me? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, you
agree with
said
none
you were
of that
sad
shit,
about it.
sir.
You said you were sad about it. That didn't make any
I did
sense.
not say I was sad. I said it is sad that Trump had to sign an executive order for it to happen. That's
Yeah.
what I said. I did not say that I was sad because he signed the order because I agree with that shit. I don't agree with none of that shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's where we're at right now.
It's fucking stupid. It's ironic.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. But everybody, I do have to go because first husband gonna be coming home and the kids is already asleep. But I do want to say one thing is to protect your children. If you have children, please protect them because now they're moving on to the children. They think children should feel that they're in the wrong bodies. And I'm telling you, please protect them because uh, they moved on to our children. And I have children, I love children. And no child should not have to feel they're in the wrong body. They shouldn't even think that way at all. Just as well that grown man should not be in our bathroom or any woman's spaces.
That's
And
right.
that's
Absolutely.
I got to go, y'all. See y'all later. Thank you, host.
Thank you for joining.
But see, that's the insanity of this world that we're living in. That people are they are glorifying this, right? They are justifying it. They're allowing it, right? We should never ever try to change another individual.
Well, let's get
That's
it. They're liberals. It's the liberals doing this.
Yeah, the problem is that they want privileges that they don't like. There's no reason to have these privileges. Like, their rights aren't being taken away. You can still go to the bathroom. You can still play sports. You can still do all of the things that everybody else can do. You just want privileges. Like, there's no other subset of men that are advocating to go into the women's bathroom to play in women's sports. So it's like, why do you think that you deserve to have that? That's a sense of entitlement. That is not a right that's being taken away. Like,
So I'm going to be honest. This is one thing that a lot of the people in the trans community don't want to admit. But there is a good percentage of people in the trans community who have a fetish for wearing women's clothes, and they're not even gay men. They have a deeper voice than I do. They're as manly as you can imagine, but they want to put on a woman's fucking outfit, and they want to put themselves in women's spaces.
yeah,
Like they
I've
don't
met
even.
one like that.
Well, in my opinion, every trans woman has a fetish for this.
No, I don't think
I
it's
wouldn't say
all
every
trans
trans
women. I
woman,
Trans
but
think
men,
it's
I'd say the
are
vast
doing this for
majority of
different
them.
reasons. Trans women, every single one of them has a fetish for this.
no, I don't think it's all trans women. I think there is some people that do honestly have gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness, and like
But,
listen, that's a whole other subject all on its own, and we
but
can get
that
into
doesn't change
that.
the fact that they get off on this.
No, it has nothing, but it's not a sexual thing. I think there's some people that are actually they feel like they were born in the wrong body, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of these like people who fetishize, certain things, and they want to wear women's clothes, and they're just fucking weird.
Yeah, but it's this whole outward parading that like they all fetishize it. They all need the affirmation. Like
Okay,
going in the women's
but
restroom makes them
you're
feel
just
good.
generalizing though. Like, listen,
No,
I
no,
I
I'm not.
understand
It's
what
like
you're
the
saying,
outward.
but
It's the outward expression of this as well that I've seen. And all these trans men, they have this caricature of like hypersexualized women as well that they're trying to portray. It's all really, really bizarre.
like I don't disagree. Like I do agree it is bizarre. Like I don't think anybody has a right to just go into women's spaces and take ownership whether you have gender dysphoria or not. I think nobody has the right to do that. But
They have a sense of entitlement. It's complete misogyny and narcissism. It's actually the most manly thing that you can do is to
yeah.
say, I don't care about how women feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go into women's spaces. I mean, like, you can't be more misogynist than that. It's like absolutely insane. Like,
Yeah,
everything that
I
I
you're
don't really
agree.
believe in that
you're doing.
misogyny, but I mean, yeah, it's a male character trait.
It is, yes, it
Insane.
is.
Like, it's so backwards, to say like, "Oh, you're not being progressive. You're not open-minded." It's like, what are you talking about? Like, the most backwards regressive thing you can be doing is advocating for men to be in women's spaces. Like,
Give me a
it's
second, guys. Hayden, can I get your age for TikTok?
32.
And do you think trans women are women?
Of course not.
Sorry, Karen.
Do you say you want me to elaborate?
No, we agree.
All right.
Has anybody ever seen somebody go to therapy for this and
Actually,
get like
almost got
fixed?
molested by 2
There is
trans
no
women.
therapy for this sort of thing.
You
Listen,
get fixed,
I
not
have
just
friends who
affirmed.
are.
I
Hold
want the
on, I'll play
fix.
devil's advocate because I have friends who are transgender, and they are
Yeah.
genuinely transgender.
What is
I
that?
don't even know what that means. You don't know what that means. They don't know what that means.
I know what it means because I think
No
there's a
one knows what
difference
it means.
between.
That's not a real thing.
What does it mean? Are you affirming a gender or are you trying to be the opposite sex? Because it seems like no one can answer that
Okay,
either.
my opinion on this is that if you can blend in and you do the work to look like a woman, then you should get the respect of being a woman.
You're not
But if
answering
you're
what
not
that means.
going to,
Are you socially mimicking them and saying the social constructs are gender separate from sex? Or are you trying to morph into a female?
I'm sorry, what's the question? You have to repeat
Are you
that.
trying to morph into the opposite sex? Or are you just saying that gender's a social construct and I just got to adopt
No,
a couple
I
of
don't
social
think
constructs? Maybe I just put on a dress and some lipstick and I'm good. Or
No,
are you trying to turn
listen,
into
I
the
think
opposite sex?
anytime a man is dressing as a woman, it's always going to be an act, but that doesn't mean we can't respect them.
That's not you're just skirting. You're just beating around the bush
Well, I'm
all day.
not. I'm
What
admitting
is it a
that
social construct or are you trying to become the opposite sex?
I don't think you can become the opposite.
Okay, so
opposite
basically,
sex.
you're
But are
born
you
a
trying
gender, you have to stay that gender.
Are you trying to be the opposite sex? Are you crossing that line
Of
and
course,
going,
I think anybody
I
that's
need the estrogen, I need the lip fillers, I need the boobs, I need the butt. That's you're morphing your body biologically. So you don't think sex and gender are distinct concepts.
no, but I think that if you want to blend in as a woman, you have to play the part.
So then you admit a woman means an adult human female.
Yeah, but I'm not taking that away from that at all.
Well, then you admit sex and gender are the same, and that answers all the questions.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you in any way. All I'm saying is that if a trans person wants to put in the work to be respected as a woman, then they need to make themselves appear as a woman.
What do you mean by that?
This
Like,
is
I
so
mean,
confusing.
what does that entail for the rest of society? Putting in the work, like, then what? Like, I don't
It
understand.
means that
You're presuming they're
it means that you
ever
have
going
to
to be
blend
respected. By the
in.
way,
It means you have to blend in.
Are we
It means
supposed
that
to
if
be
you,
you're
it means
presuming
that
they're
if
going
you
to be
walk
respected at
into,
some point.
hold on, let me just explain myself, okay? It means that if you walk into a woman's bathroom, nobody will ever notice that you're a man. Like
I've never
they'll
seen
just think
that.
you're a
I've never
woman.
seen a trans woman not be very
But
obviously a man.
if you walk into a women's space and you look like a fucking manly
Hold on.
man,
Are you
and
saying that if I walked into a woman's change room and it's like children change in there at like a high school and I pretend to be a woman's like gym teacher, but as long as I look the part, that's okay? I can go in there?
well, okay, do you
That's
know
literally what
anything
you
about
just said.
transitioning? Because if you transition well enough, it means you put years
But
into
you're
that.
still not a woman.
It means, okay, hold on. It means you put years into transitioning. It doesn't happen overnight
I don't
because
think you
you
heard
will
what I
look like a
said.
man.
If
Hold
I
on, you will
pretended to
look
be a
like a
woman
man
and I
unless
look
you
really good as a
spend a
woman,
lot of time working on that.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
No, you don't get to, like,
No.
it doesn't, I don't care how many years. You're never going to be a woman. So it's like,
No,
what?
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying they're ever going to be a woman. I'm saying if you like, but if nobody knows, then they don't know. But
We
if you
always
look like a
know. It's
man, then
very
you look like a
so
obvious.
that
man.
makes it
And
okay then? So does that mean you're okay to
Violet,
go out on
Violet, do
dates
you
with
think a
people?
trans woman would ever approach you, talk to you, be around you in the same space, and you wouldn't immediately fucking know?
like 90% of the time you could definitely tell. And if they don't look it like it, there's mannerisms that a woman knows that that's not a woman. There's certain ways that they talk. There's certain things that they say. There's a way that women communicate
Listen,
with each
okay,
other.
Violet.
Hold on, I'm literally okay, so why are you talking over me?
No, I'm not. I was.
Then why are you? I'm literally
Okay, you're
talking.
being a fucking cunt right now.
Fine, I'm a cunt. Who cares?
Yo, I don't
I'll
tolerate
put it on a t-shirt. I'll wear it today. The fuck?
Listen, I don't tolerate that shit. I'm sorry.
Like, ooh, like, please, I'm 30. Like, oh my god, yo, y'all gotta start coming up with some better things if you want to talk to me.
I venture to say it's 99%. Like, there's no chance. You'd be like, something's off.
Anyways, passability is subjective, and just because you put in quote unquote effort into emulating the opposite sex, that doesn't mean and grant you access to break moral boundaries that we've instilled in society. Right? Just because you look the part doesn't mean that you get to, get into those spaces. I don't get to put on a police uniform and walk into a prison or walk into a jail or a police station and act the part just because I feel like that's my innate sense of self. I should be a peace officer, withholding the peace and protecting my community. But yeah, no, I just don't get to slap on a uniform and pretend that I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It seems like the only arena where choosing an identity gets a pass, and it can be a false identity, and it can be identity that's not rooted in any objectivity.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to do my first educational episode on the history of autogynephilia and the introduction of Dr. Ray Blanchard. So I don't know exactly what time it'll be, maybe 7, 8 o'clock at night. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you here. Thanks for everybody who joined, who gifted, who shared, who liked the live, who joined and participated and shared their thoughts. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, have a good one.
On 3, 1, 2, 3. Trans women are men.